Shabbat Shalom, awesome tribes of Israel, Mishpacha, all across the globe. It's Rabbi Simon Altef. And Shabbat Shalom to Rabbi Kefa over there in the, I guess, in the Western Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere from this angle, from where I am in Ohio. I hear there's a lot of heat going on over there, and a lot of heat and kind of like traveling all across the U.S. at the moment, from what I hear. And there's a lot of heat going on in the Persian Gulf, as some of you may have heard, that there's a lot of tensions going on over there between the U.S. and Iran. And also now we have, I think that the recent news that came in was that the Iranians have taken over a ship that belongs to the British because of this tanker dispute that was going on. The British had stopped a tanker, Iranian tanker, in the Persian Gulf, and now the Iranians have stopped a tanker, vice versa. So there's a little bit of tensions brewing up in the Middle Eastern front, which is to be expected, because as I said, that Straits of Hormuz is a narrow straits. It's a area of shipping where a lot of the ships cross to and fro, coming to the European regions and to the eastern side, and they are kind of like a critical pathway, a bit like the Panama Canal, critical pathway between America and Latin America, I guess, from this side. But on the other side is a critical pathway between Europe and to the east and Americas and vice versa. So we are kind of here present. I thought we are going to do Pasha's Balak, which is we're going to the lunar Pasha cycle. I think we were running on the Hanuk Pasha cycle before, so I switched it to the lunar one for now, so that we don't get confused which Pasha is which. Apart from that, I think let me actually pull the joke of the week, or at least state the joke of the week. There's a rabbi and an imam, a Muslim cleric and a Buddhist monk. They go into a pizza parlor. The waitress walks over and says, "What would you like on your pizza?" And the rabbi says, "I like seafood, but my faith forbids me from eating shellfish. Make me one without shellfish." She turns over to the Muslim cleric and she says, "What would you like on your pizza, sir?" And he says, "I would like a meat topping. However, my faith forbids me from eating pork. I'll have one without pepperoni." And then she turns over to the Buddhist monk and she says, "What would you like, sir?" Who calmly says to her, "Make me one with everything." So we're going to look at the, let me just look at the Pasha, and then look at the couple of the important sayings of the Master Yeshua of Nazareth. But before I do, I wanted to first of all talk about water, and I felt that this is an important topic because we are composed of 70 plus percent. If I recall what my teacher told me years ago when I was learning Western medicine, he told me that 82% of your body is going to turn into ash, that is water. And he said to me the 12%, the other 12% is what we call the other, I would say 18%. So 82%, he said to me, is technically going to be ash. It's just going to burn up in the air and it's disappear. And I said the other 18% is your mass. It'll be the bones and other things in your body, flesh and whatnot. And so with that in mind, and today, you probably heard many YouTube videos which they tell you your body is 70% plus water, etc., to that effect. But he actually gave me a number. This was a medical doctor. He's a very good doctor in the British side, and he actually gave me a number of 82%. And I've stuck to that number, all these years. He said 82% is going to be, water. And I said, okay, great. And so question now is that, you see, we know that H2O, we know that we ourselves at cellular level, and we know that everything needs water to work and electricity to work. Now, this is something that you may have never thought about, and I've often thought about it, but I think some people never think about these things, but I do. I kind of like I got that kind of mindset where I think through things. And years ago, it was back in 2007 that I went to a particular seminar in California. I was over in Sacramento. There was a seminar there, and the people who hosted me, they were very rich people. They were stockbrokers, and the lady of the house, who was the one who invited me over to speak in a particular seminar, where all the other big names were gathered as well at the time, I remember. So she was the one who introduced me to one of these ionizers. She's the first woman that said to me, Simon, look at this ionizer. They were using it in their home. It was called, they called it Kangen water. And Kangen is a Japanese name. So I said, okay, so this is Kangen. I said, what is Kangen water? She said, oh, this is like an ionizer. And what it does, the water passes through, your faucet, your tap, and it goes from the tap, into, through the filters, and it comes out into your tap. And one side is acid water, the other side is what they call alkaline water. And she said, you must use this because this is very good for your health. It basically is good for your pH balance. And I said, okay, great. So I said, what is this machine? So she told me the machine's name. And I said, okay, then I must take one to the UK with me. She said, well, yes. And I thought, well, and I realized at the time that the power supply that I had in the UK is 220 volts. In America is 110 volts. So I had to be careful of what power supply I got. And I ended up taking one of those machines. And you may have heard about these machines. I think it was called Jupiter. So I took a Jupiter machine with me, and I said to them, I said, hey, I'm in the UK, I need a 220 volt Jupiter machine, not 110, otherwise it'll just blow up and it won't work. So they sent me a 220 volt machine, and I used that for many years of my life. But here is something important to understand. The culture where I came from, Eastern culture, and this is something I don't talk about, to be honest, because I've never really felt need to talk about this. But where I came from, the habits that we had as a people in the Eastern culture are not much different from ancient Israelite habits. All our habits are the same, we don't always talk about them. But one of the habits that we have, we never drink water out of a tap or a faucet. Americans call their taps faucets. In England, we call it a tap. So, and it's not the tap tap dance; it's the other tap. So, in the East, in Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, all these regions are very patriarchal regions, and just as America is a patriarchal country as well. And here, as you know, that America does have a lot of biblical culture in it too, but not as much as we do in the East. We have a much more, rigid culture than Americans do over here. However, the thing is this, that we store our water in the East. What we do is we don't just take the water out of the faucet and just, start drinking it. We plug it into a bottle or into a container and we sit it down. And this is something that was taught to us by our mothers, that you are not supposed to drink water straight out of the faucet. And we never understood why. We never asked the question why, but we just accepted that, yep, that is the way it's meant to be. And so when I grew up in England, I grew up with the habit of putting my water into a bottle, into a container, like a bottle type container, and sometimes I used glass bottles, other times I had these purpose-built PVC bottles that were specially made to carry water, and I would always store my water into the fridge. But I would take it from the machine. Even when I had that Jupiter machine in England, I would not just drink it straight. Never had that habit. I would take the water, plug it into the fridge, leave it there for a day, or maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever, and then take it out of the fridge and drink it. My habit has been like this the remainder of my life I can remember. That's how I've lived. Now, why is that important? Why is that good? or is there like a negativity to it? Is it bad? Actually, it's a very good habit to have. When you take water, now I learned years later, and I mean recently, I came across videos of Dr. Emoto, and Dr. Emoto did research on water, and he came out with the theories about water and memory, that water carries memory and water remembers things, and even if you speak into water, it will remember things that you say to it, etc. And so I realized, from there I realized, why do we bless our water? Because, things we do by rote, and we never question them. Well, why do I bless my water? Why do I say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'davro? Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, Yahweh our God, who is created the water from His word. Why do I say that? Out of rote. It's because it's not out of rote, because we are blessing something that has been given us, and we are, from our blessing, we are imparting a nourishment to it. And let me explain to you, because this is not mumbo jumbo, hocus pocus, because I've never questioned these things, but I have, as I mature in my life, I learn that yes, there is actually value in these things. And why we do these things? Because there is value in that as well. We must bless our water. Not just water, we must bless everything we drink. But having said that, let me explain to you why. Because water, when it comes to your tap, or to your faucet, as the Americans call it, when it comes to your faucet, it goes through left pipe, right pipe, straight pipe, up pipe, down pipe. It goes through a lot of bends. It's been pushed out by machinery at the other end of, wherever your water reservoirs are, and it's then going to come out of the pipe stressed. Listen to this very carefully now. Your water comes out stressed. And if it comes out stressed out of the tap, and you drink it straight, guess what it's going to create? It's going to create stress in your bodies as well, because it's stressed at that point. Doesn't matter what machines it comes out of. Doesn't matter you purify it or not. At that point, the water is stressed. So therefore, if you purify that water, you must rest it. You must allow that water to be de-stressed. Once you let it de-stress and you pray a blessing on it, that water will then become blessed water, de-stressed, and it will be beneficial to your body. Now let me explain to you something else. It's a standard protocol. Most people out there think if they buy water from Walmart or Publix or some other big store like Costco, they buy water, guess what? That water is sitting in bottles, packed, and it sits. And why is it better? Actually, luxury class, Evian isn't the best water in the world. I had it many, many years of my life. It's not the best. It's just a concept. So the Evian water or whatever water, whether you call it from Jacob's Well, or there's so many waters out there. Why is that water better than the tap? Let me tell you why. Because that water has been sitting down in Walmart warehouse for who knows how long. Maybe a week, maybe 4 weeks. And then it gets shipped out. So you get a water that is resting. So naturally, that resting water is better for your body because it's not stressed. Yet in reality, listen to the reality. When you test out bottled water, and I don't care if it's Evian and if it's, some other, Buxton's water or whatever, it is the worst water you can drink on the planet. It is the worst water you can drink. But because of the concept of rest, that is a critical key. It's a concept of rest that changes that water. Now, if you take tap water, forget about any filtration for a second. Don't filter with anything for now. Let's just say there's no filtration involved. You take tap water, you put it down, you rest it. You rest it for 4 hours. You pray a blessing on it. I don't care what language you use, and I don't care, how you say your blessing. You can say, Jesus bless the water. You can say, you can say, God bless the water, or whatever way you do it, as Christians do. Now, of course, we do our Hebrew blessing in a slightly different way. But like I said, you don't have to be, like me. You can do your blessing in Jesus' name, Yeshua's name, however you feel is better for you. So you do that, and once you do that, that water changes. That water is now 50 times better than any water that you buy from Walmart or Costco. Why? Because you have infused that water with a powerful words that change the constitution of that water. It now becomes better for your body, provided you also rested it. So very important concept to learn in your lives, and I want you to apply this in your lives, because I've been doing this all my life pretty much. And it's very important that you learn and you do the same. It will help you, because whether you bring in water from Walmart, if you like to drink Walmart water, or Evian, or whichever water you drink, rest it, bless it, and then drink it. And if you cannot afford the Walmart, Evian or some other fancy name in strokes, then no problem. Take the tap water, bless it, drink it. It will be as good, if not better, than that water. And by the way, scientific studies have shown that bottled water is the worst water to drink on the planet, according to science, not according to me. I'm not, judgmental on any kind of water. But I'm just saying that, it is very important that you bless your water, bless your drinks. Whatever you drink, food that you eat, bless it first. Because there's a debate years ago, there was a debate like, hey, should we use the Jewish blessings or should we not, because it's tradition. Of course, a lot of it is tradition. And I always err on the side of caution. And I say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with just doing a blessing on food. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, or whatever other blessing you want to do. This is why I printed, this is why I put my blessings into the Siddur. The Forever Israel Siddur was created for that reason. Why? Because I wanted people to learn our traditional blessings so they could use it on food. When you finish food, when you finish eating, before you eat, before you sleep, etc. So those things are still valid. They are not, they now no longer need to, no. People think, we don't have to do them. No, they very much apply. They should be done. Somebody asked me once, should I use my left foot or right foot to come out of the door? Do you still do it? I said, I do it. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. That's your choice. But I still follow those things. I still, when I go out of my door, I put my right foot out first, and I put my left in first. When I enter Walmart, I make sure that my left foot is entering first, and my right foot is entering next. And when I come out of Walmart, I make sure my right foot is exiting first, because I follow those things religiously, and I do, because I'm the Kohen. Maybe that's why. So that is to do with blessings as well. It's to do with blessings, and it's to do with what you people might call good karma. So I do that, and I suggest that you stick to that as well. So I have those things written in our book, in the what used to be called the African Israel Siddur, now it's the Abrahamic Faith Siddur, or Forever Israel Siddur. It's called the Forever Israel Siddur. My suggestion is learn those and do those. They are still valid. None of those is invalid. We still do, for a baby that is born, for a son that is born, is the firstborn, we still do the redemption ceremony. Nothing is finished. So don't, so awesome tribes of Israel, wherever you are, we still adhere to those things. We will not stop doing those just because God has given us an understanding of scriptures in other areas of scripture. Those do not become nullified. So they must still be done, and they are good for your families, and they are good for you. But what you take to the bank is this: when water comes out of the tap, and if you cannot afford to do fancy filtration, to be fair, I could afford a 1,000-pound machine. Everybody can't afford a $1,500 machine. It was $1,500 at the time. Everybody couldn't afford that, and there would be a hard push to circulate that kind of money. But I'm not saying that everybody has to go out and spend $1,500. I'm saying that at the very least, what you should do is you should take your water out of the tap, out of your faucets, place it into a bottle, preferably into a bottle that's not like a plastic, type bottle. Something that is maybe glass is better. If you can take glass bottles, they are much better. And if you can't afford to circulate money for glass, then you have the alternative PVC special bottles that they make, and they sell in places like Walmart and other places. So you can use those. And so always, always, always take this advice to the bank. Rest your water. And yes, you can put it in copper as well. Rest your water first. Rest it for at least 4 hours. Bless that water when it's sitting down, and then drink it. And it's a very simple blessing. You don't have to be an expert in Hebrew to do it. You can just say, God bless this water that I'm about to drink. Thank you. That's all you need to say. If you can't say the Hebrew, you just say the English or whatever language you speak, Spanish, Hindi, whatever. Doesn't matter. So what's important is you bless that water, because that water is what you are made of. 82% of your body, 82% of your body is made from that water. So every cell that functions, every cell the way it behaves at the atomic level, water is a key component. So therefore you must take that seriously. Must take it seriously, because that is what makes you, that is what you are. You're mostly water. So that's my suggestion. And the reason why, there's a lot of things in the Bible that we don't speak about, that are illustrated, but we don't kind of highlight them, because one, some people don't know about them. Two, we understand them, but maybe we don't highlight them because we don't arouse people's, not suspicion, but there's a word I'm looking for. It's not quite coming on my tongue. It's like superstition. There was somebody who said, "Oh, he's being superstitious." No, I'm not being superstitious, because I know things in the Bible that have nothing to do with superstition, that are factual in real life. But we don't always talk about those things because the reason being that maybe they're not pertinent at the time, and we speak about them when they are pertinent. So the pertinent thing right now is, now talking about copper. I was having a conversation about copper that Seek and Yah just mentioned. And somebody said to me that, this man on the internet said that our bodies are over excessively in copper. And I challenged that statement. And I said, how could our bodies be over excessive in copper? Because the man said on the internet that, we have copper pipes and all this, that and the other, and water goes through copper pipes, and copper comes off the pipes and goes into the body. And I said that is absolutely not true, that our bodies are over simulated or overcompensated with copper. I said I will challenge that statement any day, because a lot of this information on the internet is pure garbage. So be very careful of what garbage you're listening to, because garbage in, garbage out. Let me tell you that Americans are deficient in copper. And not just the Americans, probably British as well, and probably Indians as well, and probably Pakistanis as well. People are deficient in copper. And you may ask, how do you know that? Well, let me tell you. Let me give you evidence. High blood pressure in America, high heart attack rates, obesity, tension, stress. You know how these things are caused? Lack of copper. Now go figure, when some idiot on the internet goes and tells you that, hey, your water goes through the pipes, copper pipes, you got too much copper in you, stop drinking water from copper pipes. Then you know what? You got to shut that video down and say, what a load of rubbish. So be very careful of the ignorance that you are acquiring by going onto videos and listening to these idiots on the internet that are leading you astray by giving you falsified information, because it is just not true that you have excessive copper in your bodies. In fact, majority of Americans and British and Europeans lack copper in their bodies. The reason why we have such a high incidence of a heart attack is only one example. Then let me tell you something else. What's the second incident? Guess what? A lot of people in Europe are getting osteoporosis. Guess where that comes from? One of the lack ingredients is copper in that too. So, I'm just giving it to you straight. I'm not going to keep it from you. This is the problem. So what are we missing? We're actually missing copper in our bodies. That means we're not getting enough copper. Now, you can compensate for that because you can take copper supplements. And I'm not going to advise you which are the best supplements, because you can go do your research and find out for yourselves. However, I'm just telling you that be very careful of the garbage that is out there. Internet has a lot of videos on YouTube, a lot of videos, And a majority of these videos, they are not factual. The problem is that everybody is an expert on the internet. And yet, when you actually go through these things, you find out that their expertise is just that. It's dust on the ground. So be very careful. What I'm giving you is a life of experience. And I'm giving you information that comes from my forefathers, and from even in the Chinese culture, who has 6,000 years of experience. We have a 6,000 year rich Indian culture. We have a 6,000 year rich Israelite culture, Middle Eastern culture. That is where my information is coming from. My information is not coming from some idiot on the YouTube who I heard saying, hey, don't drink water from the tap because it's coming from the copper. I don't, waste my time like that. So my point is this, that I go back to my forefathers, my foremothers, who actually taught us how to live our lives. Daily living. This is daily living. This is not like, something special. So, absolutely, America is a baby, because America has only been emancipated since, 275 years or something. Just over 250 years, this nation is a free nation, became a nation. This is a baby nation. And what a baby nation knows about 6,000 years of Eastern cultures? Nothing. They're just on the cusp of things. So my point is this, that be very careful, because there's a lot of information out there, unfortunately, for good or for bad. I'm not going to say anything about a particular person, but I'm telling you is measure the information correctly for your own sakes before you start listening to it, because you may go down a road that leads to nowhere and leads to all sorts of problems. So this is why I say measure the information carefully, because everybody on the internet is an expert. They're all Middle Eastern experts, they're all Torah experts, and they're all God experts. But that's just not the case on the ground. So that's just by the by. So now coming back to our Parsha, and I think it's an important Parsha, because you remember I always speak about a blessing that God has given us, and God has spoken about those blessings that are on the tribes of Israel. And God speaks about them recurrently throughout Scripture. And it starts with Abraham, where God tells Abraham that you will be blessed. Well, guess what? If Abraham is blessed, who is that Abraham to us? Well, if you are any part of an Israelite tribe, or if you have even joined Israel and said, I'm going to follow the faith of Abraham, then that blessing applies to you. What applies to Abraham applies to you 100%. No less, no more. I don't care your skin color is black. I don't care your skin color is yellow. I don't care it's white. I don't care about colors. But what I do care is if you have said that I'm going to follow the faith of Abraham and I'm going to do the laws of God to the best of my ability, then it applies to you. That blessing applies to Abraham and applies to you. When God says to Abraham that I'm going to bless you, I'm going to give you land, it applies to you. It definitely applies to you at the same time. But then again, we also have a particular story in the book of Numbers, which is in this particular Parsha of Balak, where in the chapters 24, verses 5, Balaam was a magician who was commissioned or acquired to come and curse Israel. And every time this Balaam character tried to curse Israel, God would not allow him. Because God said, no, you can only bless Israel. You cannot curse Israel. So he had to speak a blessing. And then in this chapter 24, verses 4, it says, he has said, which heard the words of El, the power, which saw the vision of the El Shaddai, falling into a trance by having his eyes open, said, Yahweh speaks blessings to Israel out of Balaam, a Gentile's mouth. This is where he speaks. He says, how goodly are your tents, O Yaakov, and your tabernacles, O Israel. As the valleys are they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside, as the trees of aloes, which Yahweh has planted, and as cedar trees beside the Maim. Now, I'm going to tell you something funny. Somebody said to me that the Bible speaks about, see, again, right, some people are very simple. And so they said, the Bible speaks about aloe vera. I said, where does the Bible speak about aloe vera? So it's like my ears perked up. And somebody said it speaks about aloe vera. I said, where the Bible speaks about aloe vera? And then they mentioned this verse about aloes. And I said, this is not aloe vera. This is a tree of aloe. It's a totally different product. So be very careful, because words might sound the same in your culture, but they're not aloe vera, by the way. So I have to correct the person. It's not aloe vera, it's something else. So this speaks about trees of aloes, which Yahweh has planted, and the cedar trees beside the mine. He shall pour the mine. Now mine is water, by the way. What does he say? As the valleys, as they spread forth, as gardens by the riverside. What is a river? River is water. As the trees of aloes, which Yahweh has planted, as cedar trees beside the mine, beside the water. He shall pour the mine. He shall pour the water out of his buckets, and his seed shall be in many mine, in many waters. And his king shall be exalted over Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. Wow, what a blessing. What an immense blessing this is. He speaks about waters of the nations. He says that we'll be in many nations. And he says that our people, our children, will be greater than even the king of Agag. Agag was a wicked man. He was a king that wanted to destroy Israel, but God had him destroyed instead. Now, this story of Agag, by the way, goes to Haman in Iran, Persian Empire, where the Persian Empire, this particular fella, he wanted to destroy, he wanted to kill all of Israel. He had the king of Iran at the time, he had him put a decree that said that anybody could go to our people's homes and destroy them and plunder them and take whatever they wanted. Basically open in a shop. So that's the time when Ruth came along. Sorry, not Ruth. Hadassah, Esther came along, and Esther then did a fast, a 3-day fast, which is mentioned in the book of Esther. Then she did a prayer. Then she was bewedded to a Gentile king, and she married this Gentile king out of wedlock. She actually had to take a divorce from her husband-to-be in order to marry this king. That's another story. And then what happened? God destroyed Haman and his 10 sons who were trying to destroy all of Israel. Then the king made a new decree based on the queen's request to the king, because God was behind her. And then the new decree that was made, the Jews of the land, 120 plus provinces, all the way to India, which is today Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, other parts of those lands. Afghanistan wasn't called Afghanistan, by the way, in the old days. So having said that, these countries were like one big landmass, and our people were spread all throughout these areas. And the king decree meant that anybody could go and rob the Jews, and the Jews could not do nothing about it. They just had to sit and wash their faces. But then the decree was turned around, and then it was said that we were allowed to defend ourselves and kill anybody that came to our homes. You like shoot first and ask questions later. The same law that applies in in your homes today. So then, the people of those regions, Persian Empire, which was then known as the Persian Empire, and then the people in that empire were able to defend themselves and able to keep their homes, and they were not being attacked by other people. So therefore it is very important that we understand what this blessing is. And like I said earlier, that my lecture is connected to water, and God speaks about water, and God says that we will be mixed into water, like into many nations, because water is also a symbol of many nations. So this is why it speaks about water over here, and the New Testament uses references to water as well in the book of Revelation, and it talks about different nations there as well. And then it says that in verse 8 it says, it is El, the power, who brought him forth out of Mitzrayim. He has it were the strength of a young bull. He shall eat up the nations, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with his arrows. He couched, he swooped down as an attacking eagle. Now your Bibles may say something else. It might say a lion. He couched, he swooped down as an attacking eagle, and as a great lion, who shall stir him up. Those who bless you will be blessed, and those who curse you will be cursed. Listen to this. All the awesome tribes of Israel, you are blessed beyond measure. Anybody who thinks, even in their wrong mind, that they can curse us, got something coming. They will only be cursing themselves. We cannot be cursed. We are only a blessed nation. Through us, many people will be blessed. All the people around us that we know as different Gentile nations, all the people around us will be blessed through our presence. Now, if we just all stayed, cooked up in a little land in Israel and never left the land, and we kind of like, created our little nirvana, and we had our little heaven over there, well, then the nations would never receive the blessings. So the reason why God has ousted us from Israel, and we are in the disparate nations in all different places, is as a result that we may be a blessing to everybody around us. Never forget that. Don't ever, think that, I don't know when I'm going to get back into Israel. No. Remember, you are here for a reason. Your reason is that you are a blessing to all the people around you. That is why God has you here. So you must always remember who you are and what you are and what you stand for. So we stand for a lot of things, and so therefore it's very important. Now remember, this verse 9 speaks about attacking eagle. Eagle can fly very, very high. It can soar very, very high. We are those people who soar very, very high. And a great lion, well, a lion is king of the jungle. Lion is not afraid of anything. So remember that, as they say, we have the world before us. The rest is up to us what we do with it. We can be a blessing to the nations, or we can be a curse to the nations. What do you want to be? Do you want to be a blessing, or do you want to be a curse to the nations? I'd rather be a blessing to the nations rather than a curse. And I know this much, that since I left England in 2015 March, I have been a blessing to this nation. This nation has gone from strength to strength, from power to power, from blessing to blessing. The stock market last week hit 3,000 on the SPX 500. 3,000 plus. I spoke about that about a year plus ago. I said that we're going to hit 3,000 plus. I think it's about 2,700 at that time, the index. And today we hit 3,000 plus. So we hit all-time high, and you heard it from the president that this nation is tremendously blessed, that this nation has got the lowest, unemployment, and people of all types of color, black, brown, yellow, doesn't matter who. They are all, getting jobs. They're all having jobs. And the only person here who don't get a job is the one who don't want to work. Otherwise, there's a job for everybody over here. So, Baruch Hashem Yahweh, I'm absolutely, tremendously happy that, my step into this nation, into Pensacola, Florida, and God brought the Kohen in the gate. He really brought tremendous blessings into this nation. President Trump wasn't the president yet. He became a president a year later. And everything turned around in this country. So, I'm not saying that our president makes every right decision, but our president, decisions that he's been making and has been making for Americans have been very, very beneficial for this country. So again, I'm one of those people who's not going to stand here and curse down his president. I love my president. I love this country, and equally, I love England, and I love the, nation over there as well, because that's my that was my first home. This is my second home. So having said that, this is where I stand. So therefore I always encourage you is to always seek the better of your nation. Seek to pray for your leaders. I always say that. Pray for your leaders. Pray for your nation. Pray for goodness. So that good that you do, good will come. Because we are a blessed people. And we need to know that. We're a blessed people. I hear about people saying that, hey, I don't have food on my table. I don't have enough food to last me till tomorrow. I heard people say that. But can we say the same over here? My goodness, I have food to last me next 3 months. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So, my goodness, we're a blessed nation. We're a blessed people. And thank you to the God of Israel, to the Master Yeshua, that He's put us in this privileged position. We are a privileged people. We're not just a blessed people. We are a privileged people. So we must remember that. Now coming back, I may have sent some private emails to our people, to our awesome tribes. I don't always, send emails verbatim to everybody, because I sometimes feel that, certain information needs to remain within us, and other information that is pertinent for the other people can go out and they can have that as well. So I tend to operate in that particular way. Now I wanted to bring you to some scriptures in the New Testament, and I wanted to say this, is that I wanted to speak about Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, and Jesus of Nazareth said that He said that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And then that is treated as very verbatim, as a literal statement, and a lot of Christians run around with this like some kind of, some kind of golden bullet. Actually, it makes a fundamental philosophical statement that one, not only does it speak about our holy Torah, our holy books, the laws of the God that created those laws for us, for our benefit, but it also speaks about something fundamentally philosophical, which is this, that I can only attain something that I can attain in my life, and it's through Jesus, the Son of God, through my conception. In other words, Jesus said, Yeshua said that I am with you to the end of the age, or to the end of the world, if you believe in the end of the world. I don't, but if you do, that's fine. So he said that I'm with you to the end of the age, until the new age begins. So if it's with you, then the Son of God who lives within us is the one that makes connection to the Father in the heavens, the ultimate source of power, which is called the source of everything. So if it is, or we call it the makom, the place. We have different names for it. So this source of everything, Makor as well. Makor is another source of spring of water. So he makes that connection. Now in the book of John, chapter 3, verse 27, John said this: a person can receive only what is given them from heaven. Now where is heaven? Heaven, according to Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, is within us. We have the heavens within us. It's not out there somewhere in the desert, it's within us. It's not in Israel, it's not in Palestine, it's not in some other country, Saudi Arabia. Heaven is here within us. So when we desire something and we want something, where do we go to? Well, we go to heaven and we ask for it in heaven. What do? You visualize. You say, I like to have a house. I like to live in a house. I don't want to be living on rent. And so you commission heaven through your mindset. You commission heaven and you say that I am living in a nice house, 3-bedroom house, 2-bathroom, whatever it may be, and you then wait for that heaven to deliver you, because that's what John said. A person can receive only what is given them from heaven. Where is that heaven? Well, it's not up there, 50,000, 50 million miles up there. No, it is right down here, and it is within your mind. Your mind makes that connection through the Son of God, through to the heavens above. That's called the energy. The energy that we are, we make the connection, and we can have what we desire based on our desire. That is what, this book, we call the New Testament, speaks about time after time after time. But again, a lot of people want to make it into literal, and they want to run around with it, knocking on people's doors and giving out leaflets. But I haven't got time for that nonsense. My thing is very simple. It is very simple. If I take you to the book of John, again to the book of John, let's go to John chapter 1. Let me pull it up over here. And this is something that again Christians run around with like some kind of nirvana. It's not. It's very simple. It says, in the beginning was a word, and the word was with God, or with Yahweh, and the word was Yahweh. It actually says the Yahweh in my Bible. So because there's actually a definite article there. It says the same was in the beginning with Yahweh. All things were made through him, and without him was nothing made that was made. Let's try to understand that. What does that mean? What does it actually mean? One second. Let's restrict this person. Okay, good. So, having said that, so the Bible teaches us that here, in the beginning was a word, and the word was with Yahweh. Well, what is the beginning? The beginning is now. When you are born, that is your beginning. So where is the word? Where is the word of God? It's within you. So what does it say? It says all things were made through him. In other words, whatever you want to commission in your life, you have the power to do so. Whatever you want to commission in your life. If you want to be rich, if you want to be poor, you have the ability to do so. And so therefore, this is very important to understand. Very important to understand that it is the power of presence now. It is the power of now. And I'm not going to, I don't have time to explain what the now is. Obviously, Rabbi Kefa has spoken about the now many times, because we can use the future to torture us, or we can use our past to torture us. How do we use our past to torture us? Well, we can think, hey, such and such person at such and such time in 1996 said this to me, and I feel bad about it. And we can continue to torture ourselves without those comments that somebody said to us in the 20 years ago, and we continue to torture us until we come to the point and we think, hey, hang on a minute, I'm not living in 1996, I'm living in 2019. What am I doing? I shouldn't be thinking like that. That's just a memory. That's not me. So you could just boom, discard it in a second. You dissolve that memory in a second by saying, that's not me, I'm not that thought, I am me. I don't have to worry about what somebody said in 1996. Or you could be torturing yourself, and you could be torturing yourself by saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to die in the future, and I'm going to have this nirvana, and I'm going to be in heaven, and I'm going to have a nice house, and I'm going to drive in my BMW. And you see, you'll be torturing yourself like that. That is something in the future. Again, you're wasting your time, because what God does in the future is for the future. Or what God does now is for now. So therefore it's very important to understand that we need to worry about not future, 20 years later, 30 years later, when you're going to be alive or dead. No, we need to think about now. Where am I right now? Right now, I'm in peace. Right now, God has me in His hands. And if God has me in His hands right now, then God has me in His hands in the future as well. I don't need to worry about something that never happened yet. So I don't need to torture myself. I don't need to think, oh, will I go to heaven? Will I go to hell? Will I be burning in the hell? All these nonsensical teachings that come out of religions. So be very careful that, you do not fall into that. I think this guy is trying to spam us with all sorts of texts, Mr. Carl. I'm going to have to block him. 1 second, please. Okay, so we'll carry on. So having said that, we need to stop this torture, because I know that a lot of people today, they live in the present. Not in the present, they live in the past. Either they live in the past or they live in the future, somewhere in the future where they think, oh, when I die, I will see Jesus coming down the sky, and He will then take me to heaven, and I will have all these beautiful lush trees, and I will have a nice home, because He said to me that I'm going to go build mansions for you. So they're waiting for their mansions, and so on and so forth. So my suggestion is, be very careful. Be very careful, because you are only deceiving yourself by doing that. So don't deceive yourself. Don't allow to be deceived, because you have everything in the present tense right now. Now your heaven is right now. Your peace is right now. Those things are what we call thoughts. Thoughts can be used to punish you, to torture you, to maybe even people might think they bless them somewhere, but they don't. They actually always end up being negative, always end up being detrimental to your health, to your life. So what God has for us, let me be very clear. God has given us covenants. We are already taken care of. And we don't need to worry about the future, because God has already said it. How many times does God need to write that, hey, Israel, you're in my hands. You're in the palm of my hands. I've got your names written in my hand. How many times somebody has to tell us that? He's already said that you're in the palm of my hands. Don't worry about it. I'm with you all the way. I'm never going to leave you. I'm never going to discard you. I'm never going to forsake you. So with that in mind, I believe God. I choose to believe God, and I choose to rest my faith in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I would suggest that you, awesome tribes of Israel, do likewise. When somebody comes to you to give you a poster, say, hey, do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? You get these Jehovah's Witnesses, or you sometimes get these Assemblies of God, or sometimes you get some other people come at your door and they say, hey, do you know what's going to happen tomorrow? And I say, yeah, I know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't need to worry about it today. I don't need to worry about it today. Today, I'm going to concern about today, not about tomorrow. So what God will do is God will do tomorrow. So don't worry about it. I don't need to worry about it, and neither do you. So there's this guy that came to the door, and he said, do you worry about, he said, do you worry about things that are going to happen tomorrow? I said, no, I don't. I said, by the way, I'm Jewish. And I said, by the way, we have our holy scriptures, and I don't worry about nothing. So I said, thank you for coming. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. So, I sent them on their way packing. So this is an easy way to do it, because you got all these scaremongers, coming from churches, trying to scare people, put fear into their lives, and all the church and religion is all about fear. Keep you in fear, keep you down there on the ground, and keep you begging for mercy. But by the way, God has given us ample mercy and ample blessings. So we don't need to worry about these nonsensical statements that come out of traditional churches, because that's all they are, nonsensical statements. Because in John chapter 1 verse 14, what did it say? It said, and the Word was made flesh and tabernacled among us. Well, how does the Word become flesh? Well, I speak the Word into my mind. I speak the Word into my mind that I'm driving this beautiful car, whatever the car may be. And guess what? That car is going to become flesh in my life. That's all that basically means. So let's just stick to what it means, and let's not jump around trying to make some other statement out of it, and trying to, make buffoon of other people by saying something else that is not factual. So let's stick to the facts on the ground. It is about your desires, it's about your dreams, it's about your wishes, and God is able to give them to you all. Because there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you having your own place to live. There's nothing wrong with you driving a car with four tires on it, unless you like driving a 3-tire car. So there's nothing wrong with it. So therefore, you can have that. The Word became flesh. Well, how did the Word become flesh? Well, first I got to put it there. Then it's going to become flesh. Well, if I don't speak it, how's it going to become flesh? Remember, God spoke the world into existence. Remember always that. So if I want something, I need to speak it into existence, because I have God-like power within me. Because God lives within me. And not just within me, He lives within all of you as well. You have God-like power. Are you going to use it? Or are you going to complain all the time and, I can't get this and I can't get that and this has happened, that? No, stop the complaining. Start using the gifts that God has given you. Start using those gifts. Start using the God-like power that you have, and then you can have all your desires. Baruch Hashem Yahweh for that. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for listening. I'll pass it to Rabbi Kefa, and we can take questions later. Todah, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Shalom to you.
Yeah, Todah HaKohim. If I could be here, can I get a one? Todah for your instruction. It's totally spot on. Totally spot on. Todah for that. Shabbat Shalom to you, HaKohim. Up north, as you all know, the heat wave is on. Baruch Hashem. Looks like all over here in North America. So, Baruch Hashem, y'all use your precaution. Something that came to me this morning from the Mvokma was this, and there'll be a lecture brewing on this as well. A lot of this input will probably come from the Shabbat Shalom to you, Shenya, Hebrew 100, Simha. Shabbat Shalom to you over there in California. I know all is well for you over there. I know there's a lot of quaking going on over there in California area. So remember, take heed for those of you who are California residents. You may want to consider probably relocating. These aftershocks and quakes that are occurring. These are just the beginning. They're not gonna subside. Actually, they're gonna get worse. Just heads up. And I know, just like Akoy says, we don't shoot from the hip here. We gotta be straight shooters here. And so that's what's going on. Science is telling you the same thing. It's just a matter of when. The quakes are going to occur. Even the seismologists and all these other people that are experts in that field are telling you this. So take heed, take it to head, take it to heart, and take action. And really look at, relocating somewhere where there's safety, where there's peace, where there's joy, where you can, really get on and thrive and really be the awesome tribe of Israel member that you are, and truly be a light to the nations where you are. Our Kohe's lecture was truly spot on, but back to what the Mvokma gave me this morning, which I will definitely study on and meditate on as well this week ahead. I mean, these are awesome times for me because, my world is just really, I just give thanks, and I'm so happy and humbled that, we all, as people here on the face of this earth have the opportunity to do great things as human beings, to do great things and to really leave a legacy, and more importantly, just live a life of joy, peace, love, happiness, and all of these wonderful things that what life is really all about. Because what I'm noticing is that there's a lot of people around me that are passing on to the next life. They're going. And a lot of family members that are around me, and even people that are famous, and as you know, a lot of billionaires have passed. Have you noticed that? A lot of these great billionaires, and one of them was Ross Perot. He passed here in Texas. He's a billionaire, great man, done great things. And you really, when these people pass, they leave not only a legacy, but they leave their mark here on this life. And I think that's brilliant. And you heard about Perot, and then who's the other billionaire guy? He just recently passed as well. I think he's up near the east, somewhere in the East Coast up there somewhere. He also passed. So there's the Ford guy, the one that invented the Shane. Yeah, you probably know about it. Lee Iacocca. He actually invented the Mustang, the Ford Mustang. So for you Ford drivers, Lee Iacocca, he was a billionaire as well. He passed. So again, I know you know about Lee Iacocca. Great man. I mean, these people leaving a legacy, great history that they're leaving behind about the actions that they took in their life. Yeah, there were ups and downs, there were ebbs and flows. They stayed consistent, and they stayed in what they believed in. And I think this is very important to understand. You're going to have your ups and downs. Things may not always go your way or how you think they should go, but I would encourage you this day, and I will hold up my pom-poms and be the big cheerleader for you and tell you to continue to press on. And whatever you desire for yourself, keep it. Keep it. Be persistent with it. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in, because maybe, you're going through that valley instead of being on the top of the mountain. Even in the valley, my goodness, you can gain so much experience, and at times you'll be strengthened, and you will be motivated, and you will be encouraged to find. So stay with your dreams, with your desires, with those things that you truly want out of life. Don't ever give up on life, and life will never give up on you. So, great, I'm seeing family members that are passing, and as I go back and I look at their lives, I think it's important to understand is like, what did they leave behind? What did they do with their life? What did they truly enjoy the journey? Was it a happy journey for them? And so these are questions that I have, because believe me, you may not believe this, but there is life after this. After this, you lose this fleshly body. There is another world to it. You have to. If you just, and I know a lot of folks that do believe that when you expire in this life, you just sleep, you just rest. You just rest, and that's all it is to it. But no, I believe that there's more to it than that. Your energy, you don't die. You can't destroy energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can change forms, but it cannot be destroyed. So going back to all of these great you go through this earth in your journey, and you're gonna face obstacles, and you're gonna face circumstances that may not be too agreeable with you. But I would encourage you to stay, press on towards that mark, like we hear in the New Testament. What are your markers that you set for yourself? Don't give up on those markers. Don't give up. Don't give in. Stay persistent. Stay motivated, and keep that drive to keep your dream alive. Keep whatever dream. How many of you in this room right now have dreams? You have desires for yourself. You have wants that you want right now. Not for later on, but you want them now. Then I would encourage you to stay persistent. Stick with it. Stick with it. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. And you will meet your mark. Those that don't meet their marks are those that give in. Those that don't believe that they can have those desires, those wants, those dreams, you can have them right now. Now, there are a lot of things that come into play, and a lot of those things that come into play are within our control. We can control those things. While you want to place the blame game on everybody outside of yourself, what you need to understand is that these things can be controlled by you. You control your environment. Too many of the blame is want to be put on other people outside of ourselves. Well, they're the reason why I didn't get this the man is the reason why they get there. That woman, that husband, that man was the reason why. No, at the end of the day, the responsibility will fall back on yourself. And just like our Queen said in his lecture, as soon as you really understand it and get within yourself and really understand and put the mind in its place and use it as the wonderful tool, the wonderful machine that it is, and connect your mind with your subconscious, while you're conscious, then, oh my goodness, the world, you see the world in a different light, and I know a lot of you are doing that right now. You see this world right now in a different light. The light has been amplified. It's almost like you see everything in 5G instead of 4G. And you see everything in HD quality now. And that's great. Focus, yeah. And that's what life should be about. You shouldn't have to just be going through these little motions. Just because so-and-so said so, then this is what it's going to be. No. Because if you have that mentality, then you're still being dictated by so-and-so and not by self. Nobody wants to be dictated by so-and-so or manipulated by so-and-so, but it's happening all the time. Just look at YouTube. Happening all the time. Oh, well, I saw it on YouTube. Oh, my preacher said, oh, my pastor said, blah, 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 blah. He sent this letter out, and he didn't go into detail about it, but he did send the letter out. I don't know how many of you read the letter from to the awesome tribes of Israel. Any of you received that letter? Put up a capital L if you did receive that letter. Anybody receive that letter? It was an awesome letter, very instructional if you read it. There's a lot of information in there. But one of the things that he did say was a stumbling block that can prevent you from truly being successful, truly meeting your mark, was that you cannot be judgmental. You see, we've been conditioned to be judgmental. I can remember as a Christian, I go around, with judgment. I sat in the judgment seat. Oh, you're going to hell. You don't believe in Jesus, you're going to hell, sir. You're going to hell. If you don't get saved right now, how many remember that? That's high judgment. You cannot be judgmental of others' situation, others' dreams, desires, because they may not line up with yours, others' thought process and how they process things. Because you all understand now, as students of the Torah, you have those people that are conscious, and then you have those people that are just unconscious. They just still running off of the fuel that is on YouTube. Not to say that all YouTube is bad, because believe me, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to take yourself off of the judgment seat and quit being judgmental. If you want to judge anything, you judge yourself. So while you're pointing that finger, look how many more fingers are pointing back at you. You need to judge yourself and see where you stand with your dream process, your thought process, your want process. Where am I in that process, you see? That's what's important. And as I see all of these people that are, passing away, our family members that are, passing away and going on to the next life, I wish them the best in the next life. That's my desire, is that they have an awesome afterlife. Bukashia. But then, do you know how you can judge a person is by what the actions that they left behind. I'm seeing with Ross Perot, oh my goodness, his whole life is being opened up now that he has passed, and you're starting to see things that were not talked about when he was a lead. He's done great things for great people, to help people, for the betterment of humanity. Same thing with Lee Iacocca. Done great things for a lot of people. But these things are not recognized until you pass on to the next life. And then your life kind of becomes under a microscope. I note that I'm doing that with my family members as well, my uncles that are passing on to the next life. My father's wife, my father, he's been married 3 times. I'm the product of my father's first marriage, my mother that he married. His other 2 wives has already passed. The only one that's still alive is my mother, his first wife. And I sit back and I look at, and not to put myself in a judgment seat, but I sit back and I just assess, okay, what did these other wives do for what did they do for my father? And now my father, he seems just like a shell of himself now. So I just look at the actions that these wives played in their life. I look at the actions of my uncle that just recently passed. I look at the actions. Okay, well, what did they leave behind? What did they do? The question that I have for you this day. What are you doing with this wonderful gift of life? Are you just squandering it? You just throwing it away? Ask yourself this question and say, and I know all of you, you're connected, or you may know of someone who has passed recently, or maybe you contemplate, passing on to the next life. Don't let that be where all your energy goes into, because then you don't have time for the now, because you're contemplating the next life. The next life is now. You understand what I'm saying? But what you do need to do is have like, this word came to me today. I tell you, it's just as clear as a piece of chocolate cake. Agenda. You all need to have an agenda. Can anybody give me a synonym for agenda? Agenda. Like it's your agenda. Any synonyms? If you want to Google it real quick, if you have to, that's fine. But what's your agenda? I'm going to give you some real quick. What's your plan? What's your timetable? What's your lineup? What's your schedule? What is your program? Agenda. How many of you have an agenda this day? Yeah, what's your goal? To not for your responses, by the way. What's your purpose? And you have to ask yourself this question. Too many times we run to the pastor, well, what is my purpose? You may even run to the Kohen. Well, Kohen, what's my purpose? And the Kohen, I guarantee he's going to tell you something similar to this. What do you want to do? You see, just like the Master Yeshua. He was a master at doing that. Answering a question with a question, because at the end of the day, everything relies on you. And that's what I'm telling you, you need to note this from the Master Yeshua. Every time somebody came to him with a question, he would always answer their question with a question the majority of the time. What is that telling you? Boy, there's some great wisdom in that if you understand it. The wise will understand. Is that the onus is on you. Not what everybody else opinion may be. Because at the end of the day, for your agenda to be successful, it has to come from yourself. That subconscious, that consciousness within you, and then the mind gets to working properly like it needs to. And then all of a sudden, you're seeing manifestations, you're seeing everything being attracted to you just like living water. How many of you, to top of that, I quote about water, but how many of you believe water is alive? How many of you believe that? You believe that water is alive. Water is living. It's alive. See, that's why you can speak to your water. You can speak to it. And you know what came to me this morning, Hakohi? And I don't know why I need to bring to you, Hakohi, because I'm supposed to. Because my told me to. But salt. Salt came to me this morning. Salt. I'm like, salt. Salt is another nutrient that's in tandem among some other minerals with water. Any of you in the medical field, you know this. Water and salt. One of the first things that happens when you have an emergency, they're hanging an IV bag. And it has water and salt in it, or water and sugar in it. And they're infusing that within your body. Salt. That's the lecture. That's brewing. It's over here simmering. It's over here marinating right now. But salt. Think about that for a minute. The Master Yeshua talked about it a lot as well. Salt. And let's go back to the agenda factor. How many of you know, just like you can have good agendas, you can have bad agendas. Somebody can have a bad agenda, agenda that's just not for good. There's nothing good in it. No good energy in it whatsoever. While others, that's all their life is about, is positive vibration, positive frequency, positive agenda. An agenda that has such a great purpose behind it. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, well, what is your purpose? I think there's a book out. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard of this title so many times. A Purpose-Driven Life. Isn't that something? Great title, by the way. To have a purpose-driven life. A life of purpose. And when you look at this parsha, right, you see the negative side of a purpose. You see? Because Balak, the king of the Moabites, had a purpose. A negative purpose. And sometimes, as we assess ourselves and our situation, our purpose may be negative in the fact that it doesn't line up with the positivity or the purpose of the universe. You see? Think about that for a minute. You see, because the universal law is the perfect law. If you don't line yourself up with the perfect law, if you're not for the perfect law, what are you? You're against the perfect law. Are you an antagonist or a protagonist to perfect law? You see, this is where you really have to begin to ask yourself this question. Because this may be the key reason why you don't see things manifesting in your life. Why you don't see yourself attracting those things that you desire. It's because maybe your purpose may be antagonist against perfect law. Laws that the perfect law can't be changed. Just like Israel is blessed. When Abraham was blessed, Israel is still blessed. I haven't got the memo, from the heavens or from the angels. Wow. That's been working out well, Hakohen, on this end. From the angels that's telling me, oh yeah, here's the memo 65732. Israel is only conditionally blessed when blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, if God said it, then you can forget it. It's locked. It's locked. When the universe says something, when source energy, source power puts something out there, that's it. So you don't have to run around saying you're blessed. You just act on blessing. Your actions are blessing because you're already blessed. You don't have to run around convincing yourself that you're blessed, that you're blessed, that you're blessed. Christians will do that all the time. They run around and say, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed. And that's a good thing to say. But if there's no action behind it, if the universe is not behind it, you understand what I'm saying? I'm going to show you right here out of our books that very same thing. Very same thing, right out of the Abrahamic Faith Bible. Very same thing. Right here in this parsha, very same thing. Very, very exact same thing. Just because you say that you're blessed doesn't mean that you're blessed. Listen to this. Look at Numbers chapter 22. Numbers chapter 22, look at verse 6. Come now, therefore, I beseech you, curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I will prevail, that we may slay them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I know that he whom you blessed is blessed, and he whom you cursed is cursed. Just because you know blessed, see, this is what, you see, you must understand this. This is very important to understand. Is that just because you say with your words, Bilam, you see, Bilam wanted these people just cursed down. So the opposite of cursing is blessing. The opposite of blessing is cursing. But again, you can run around here saying, I'm blessed, all you want to. But what are the actions on the ground? Those are actions that manifest blessings, or are they manifesting curses in your life? And just because you know that someone who blesses someone is blessed and someone who curses someone is cursed, is that factually so? When when we read in that same chapter 22, we read in the same chapter 22 that source energy says this to Balaam. Look at verse 12. And Elohim said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. Well, all right, we got two people claiming blessings here. And the power to will and the power to mandate blessing. Who has the power? Does this old piddly king have the power to mandate blessings, or does source energy, where the king comes from, source energy? At the end of the day, who has the power? I can remember back in the day, there was a song, I got the power. Do you really? Are you connected to source energy to say you have the power? You see, there's pseudo power out there. You see it all on YouTube. Pseudo teachers, pseudo healing, and then there's source healing. Pseudo versus source. Wow. That could be the title of a good book or a good lecture at best. There's a lot of pseudo out there. False. Pseudo meaning false. And behind that false is an agenda. Is a plan. Now, you may not believe this, and I don't want to bust your bubble this day, but do you know that majority of the medicine out here, is pseudo medicine. Healthcare is pseudo healthcare. Do you understand that? Because at the end of the day, their agenda is not to get you better. Think about this for a minute. You see, you don't believe me? When you turn on your television and you begin to watch all of these advertisements about this medicine, this medicine is the next thing makes the sliced cheesecake. But then they begin to name off the side effects. It's, it'll cure this. But then you have to be careful because if this can cause this. How many of you seen them commercials like that before? What they're telling you is, I'm telling you, Mishpachah, their agenda, the majority of healthcare agenda is not to get you better. And you're talking to someone that's been in the field 20 plus years. Their agenda is not to make you better. This is why you must be very careful. Like Akohi says, you must do your research for yourself. To better yourself. Akohi has given you mid-lectures on this time and time again on what's proper to take care of your body, to help you maintain and have that completeness that you say in your affirmations. I am complete. I am whole. I am health. I am wealth. I am prosperity. I am infinite abundance. You see, the whole agenda of the majority, I'm not going to say all, but the majority of healthcare is not to get you better. Because guess what? A lot of doctors are going to be out of jobs. A lot of dentists are going to be out of jobs. If their agenda is to get you better. Luxury class, you're absolutely right. They have to keep you coming back. As a matter of fact, they literally want you to get worse. So you keep coming back, and then they prescribe you on another this one, and another pill, and another this, and another that. Now, if you're taking pills right now, Rabbi Kefa's not saying stop taking pills. But I'm trying to tell you that the agenda, the majority, not all, but the majority of the healthcare field out here is not trying to get you better. That's not their purpose. Now, there's a lot of great holistic doctors out here, doctors, Eastern doctors, I'm telling you, their agenda is to make you better and to use herbs and meditations and all these other things, and to use the power of their hands just touching you to heal you, to actually heal you. But most professions, when you look at Western medicine, they're not trying to heal you. They're actually trying to hinder you. Their agenda. How many of you remember the lecture and remember how Kohen talked about organ meats? Remember they talked about the benefits of eating organ meats. Now I want you to listen to this very carefully because I love Pharaoh. Pharaoh, my dog, he's loyal to me. He's proven in his actions to be loyal to me. Very loyal. So I'm rewarding Pharaoh's loyalty by giving him the best quality of life that can ever be given to an animal. How many of you love animals? How many of you just animal lovers? Anybody in this room? Put up a capital A. If that's you, you're an animal lover and you want the best for your animal. You want to do the best and you want the best for your animal. You want to give them the best life like you have the best life. And you want them to have a long and prosperous and just meaningful life and just a life of joy, a life of happiness. To top of your responses, by the way. Well, listen to this. Hakohi, you're spot on. There's this one doctor that was attracted to me, that I attracted in, that I manifested into my life. Because I'm feeding Pharaoh kibble like dog food. And my goodness, like Hakohi said, when you do the research and you find out what's really going on with the kibble, kibbles and bits is not all what it's cracked out to be, Mishpah. Kibble, dog food, dry dog food is actually hindering your dog. It's not making your dog healthy. And I noticed that. And then there's this one doctor, you can Google him, I would encourage you. Check him out. He's a veterinarian, and guess what? He loves animals. But he is being subdued. He is being, you see, because the big pharma and the big kibble companies, they don't want this information to get out. You see, but you can only hide truth for so long, and then truth will come to the light. But just like, how many, you all remember the lecture I called you said, hey, it's really good to eat organ meats, like liver, organ meats of animals. And if you notice, if you see, how many of you have these lion characteristics in you? Let's just talk about that for a minute. Any of you have these lion characteristics of the tiger. I know Hakohi, he's a tiger. You have these cat-like characteristics in you. You feel that. You know that. You tell yourself you are a lion. And you're ready to pounce. You are a lion. You are the king of the jungle. To top of that, Oliver, I'm a lion with you too, sir. I'm right with you, sir. Lion and an eagle. But we're going to talk about the lion for a minute. How many of you ever watched these lion shows on TV? Documentaries where you see these lions and they're in the wild and they just living and people are filming them and blah, blah, blah. And it's a beautiful thing, right? Now, if you ever notice, when a lion kills an animal, not whether it's the lioness that does the killing, right? But when the lion comes and gets first dibs, because believe me, the lion always gets the first dibs. What part, if you notice, what part does these animals take from? The nutrient-rich part of the dead animal that they just killed. The animal that, Baruch Hashem, they take the organs. You ever notice that? I noticed that with wolves as well. Well, guess what? Pharaoh, my dog, he's a descendant of the wolf. And the kingpin wolf will always go in and eat the organs first. You better learn from this. You better learn from this. There's wisdom in this, Mishpah. They don't go after the leg. They're not going after the chicken wing. They're going after the chicken's organs. That's always the first part. They're not going after the hind quarter or the steak or the hind, all these other parts. They eating the organ. The leader of the pack, he's going in and he's going to, from that carcass, he's going to take the organs. Wow. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? So what I did with Pharaoh, look up this doctor, this vet. His name is Dr. Marty. Google him. Watch his video. You'll learn something that'll help you benefit your animals. Needless to say, we over here feeding our animals all this kibble and think we're doing these good things, and we see all these advertisements. Oh, get this brand and this brand, blue this and blah, blah, blah. This is going to make your dog so healthy. When at the end of the day, all these big kibble companies, all you're feeding them is dead animals. Dead animals from the zoo. They take them and squash them up. Dead animals on the side of the street. These pig farms, they're taking all the byproducts, and you're getting a lot of byproducts, and they're taking all these animals, and they grind all that up and make it into kibble. And that's what you're feeding your dog. And these high-pricing dog foods. when your dog and your other animals should be eating raw organ meats from animals. That's the most healthiest form. I've had Pharaoh on this diet for 1 week. Pharaoh's changed. Pharaoh has a pep in his step. Pharaoh is pouncing. Pharaoh is very active. And Pharaoh's gotten leaner. And just week. 1 week. I went to my butcher, thanked the universe for this man, and he gave me the hearts of animals, the hearts of the sheep, the hearts of the lamb, the hearts of the cow, beef liver. I grinded all that up with some other nutrients that were recommended by this great vet over there in California, is doing Dr. Marty, doing great things. And sure enough, Pharaoh has changed for the good. My goodness, Pharaoh's licking the silver off of his bowl now. It's so good. And it's truly changed Pharaoh's life for the better. He's wagging his tail. He's telling me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Why? Because I take the time. Because my agenda is to give Pharaoh a great life. A marvelous life, a happy life. A life Pharaoh will live long years. That's in my script. Pharaoh will have long life. And that life of an abundance of a life. I'm going to reward Pharaoh's loyalty to me because he's been so loyal. So loyal to me and my family. And even to this day, he's still just as loyal. Pharaoh's consistent with his loyalty. He doesn't waver. So, what I want to do is make things better for him. I want to give him the best of a life. So, I've taken him of all of this dog food. That's quite expensive. This kibble, that's all it is dead animals. Majority of it, byproduct. Preservative, which is very bad for dogs. I don't want my dog taking preservatives. I want to preserve my dog. So I have to feed him these organ meats. That's the best meat. Nutrient rich. Take heed to this. You remember the lecture he talked about this? And he told us what meats we need to be eating. Organ meats are the healthiest for our bodies as well. Think about this for a minute. There's an agenda. So, and I always wondered every time when I take Pharaoh to the vet, you know what they always ask? Hey, what kind of dog food you give? What kind of dog food? And if the vet finds out that you're giving your dog like a raw meat diet, they quarantine these dogs from all the other dogs. Did you know that? That's what Dr. Marty was speaking on. They separate these dogs. And they need to be separated because these dogs are special. But they handle these dogs a different way because they see them as because at the end of the day, Pharaoh won't be going back to the vet anymore so often. And that's the whole agenda, is to keep him at the vet. So that's why they want to know what kind of dog food he's on. So you can keep him coming my way. And circulating monies that don't need to be circulated. And you can take those monies and circulate them in another avenue. So if they're doing it with dogs, they're even doing it more so with human beings. And all of you know this. You all know this. If you're prescribed any kind of medication, you know this. You know this. It's just legal. They're doing it illegally with these opioids. Now, under the administration of President Trump, thank God that he's doing that, he's arresting some of these pharmacists and shutting down some of these drugstores that are doing this. That's pushing opioids on people. First, it starts out in as a little pain pill here, a little pain pill there, and before you know it, you're hooked. You can't come off this stuff. And then you have to deal with some of the lower grade type medications. And go down those dark roads, and before you know it, you're getting it off the street to maintain. And so this is what happens. There's always an agenda behind you. Every person in life has an agenda, whether they see it or not. Either you're in control of your agenda or you're being controlled following an agenda. How many of you understand that? That's true. That's very real. You're either agenda driven or you're driving your agenda. Think about that for a minute. You're either agenda driven or you're driving your agenda. These are the two. All humanity can put themselves in one of those categories. And you, as students of human nature, just like you're students of the Torah, you need to understand that as well. I want you these next 6 days later, just sit back. Not be judgmental, but just sit back and watch people. Watch their actions. You'll be able to tell if they're agenda-driven or they're driven by an agenda. You see? You'll be able to see it for yourself. You'll be able to see it within your own families, in your circle of friends. You see? Your message, Shabbat Shalom to you. So these are the things that we have to look at. Now, when we go back and we look into our parsha, when we go back and we look into our parsha, Balaam, again, he was being driven. He was being driven to go against, we call Balaam what? The Gentile prophet who had been given abilities to connect to source energy. Now, there was an agenda for Balaam to go and do this, to go and curse Israel, who Israel cannot be cursed. And Balaam was told that. But the king agreed with it. And the king was persistent. I mean, in his defense, he was very persistent. Very, very persistent. Let's go and read this. Pick it up at Numbers chapter 22. Starting at let's start at verse 1, even though it's not part of the parsha, but I think it's instructional as well. The children of Israel set forward. Again, I read from the Abrahamic Faith Bible. If you don't have this Bible, go get it. Please add it to your library. You on YouTube that are listening in, add it to your library. It'll help you with your studies to understand, fully understand what is factual on the ground. You see, because when you do stand before judgment, and you will, when you stand before source energy, you're going to be held accountable. And I want my accounts to be held based on fact and not fiction. The universe knows that that's what I want. Just give me the facts, and then let me act on the facts. Don't let me act on fiction. Let me make proper actions, proper decisions based on the facts. How many of you want that for yourselves as well? You don't want it to be based on any fiction out here, because that's not the solid ground. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in the plains of Moab, on this side of Jordan, on this side of Jordan by Jericho, or Jericho, Ukashem. And the children of Israel set forward. We'll talk about that later on. It's another lecture. Your journey. But they set out forward. And Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorite. Well, the Amorite just got the smackdown when we look at our history. The God of Israel, the children of Israel, noting and knowing that there's an agenda. And sometimes with the agenda, you got to go to war, baby. You got to go to war with the adversary. And I'm telling you, the biggest adversary in your life right now is going to be yourself. As you come into consciousness and you become conscious, I'm telling you right now, how many of you can agree with me? It's not your husband, it's not your wife, it's not your mother, it's not your father. Your biggest adversary is going to be you. You're going to have to come against yourself head on and ready for war. You must do that. You must be willing to do that. But you've got to be successful and to conquer. Lands, by the way, conquer lands. Whatever you have laid out for yourself. What is your agenda? What is your plan? What is your motivation? These are lands that you can conquer. It can come in the form of lands. Lands can be in the form of a house. Lands can be in the form of cars. Land can be in the form of a new entrepreneurial job that you want to take on, a new business that you want to start. Conquer land. Baruch Hashem. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the universe. There's no stopping us, Mishpachah. Just like that song. You know, we just read this part in the Parsha, in our books. We just read in verse 1 where the children of Israel set forward. It reminds me of that song. Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move. You see, that's how you are. You're on the move. Ain't no stopping you, according to the song. You're on the move. You're the children of Israel. You're on the move. There's no stagnation. You're on the move. You pitch, you move. You pitch, you move. You establish, you pitch, you move. You establish, you pitch, you move. Baruch Hashem. Ain't no stopping you. You're on the move, Israel. Our books tell us that Israel went forward. They set forward. Your forward is now. You need to have forward thinking. See, many people are afraid of forward. Just like you're going to find out in this portion. They're afraid of forward thinking. Forward. What do you mean you have your house? You don't have that house. You don't have that house now. You ain't in that house right now. What are you saying you're going to have that house? You're going to have that car? What are you saying you're going to have children? You don't have children. Look how old you are. You don't have no children. Why is it taking you so long to have children? You say you have a son. What do you mean you're going to have a son? You don't know what you're going to have, you see, but you keep your mind forward. Now. Because now is forward. You can't be forward in the future because the future is now. You have to be now forward. Excuse me while I let it out. You must be now forward, you see? You see? But that's what you must understand. You must into the thinking as you're conscious that your biggest obstacle is going to be you as you come into self. Okay? Very important that you understand that. Because the you has been either dictated and manipulated by, conditioning or whatever outside force that's out there. Now that you're coming into self, wow. How many of you understand that battle? You versus self. You understand what I'm talking about? You're like, yeah, Rabbi, give up. I know exactly what you're talking about. Because so long, I've been blaming this person, that person, this situation, this circumstance for so long, and I'm never getting anywhere. I can't meet my mark because I haven't sat down to really understand it's you versus yourself. That's why the Master Yeshua he would always answer a question with a question. Okay, well, because he's trying to tell you this very same thing that I'm talking about. It's all about self. You have to understand it's about yourself. You see? But you got to get past the you, because you, just like in YouTube, the you has been feeding you all of this mumbo jumbo. All of this has been giving you an agenda. Oh, the you will give you an agenda, and that agenda may not be so rosy, and that agenda may be dark, and it may be negative agenda. That's what you will tell you. But when you get past you to yourself, oh man, self is that innocence, that beauty, that inner man, that inner woman, that is literally self. That's your consciousness. And it's always going to be positive once you dust the cobwebs off of it. And it's super positive, it's super love, it's super vibration, it's super energy, it's super frequency. And it wants to manifest the self, and you want to manifest whatever you want for yourself in this wonderful earth. the self within you is forward, because forward is now. So yourself is what you want now, what you desire now for yourself. Isn't it so beautiful? It's so exciting to live life now. I'm thinking, as my uncle has passed, my father's brother, I'm like, wow, you know, that's the guy I said, my question would be, did you live your life now? And did you enjoy this journey here on this earth? Were you happy? Was it peaceful for you? Did you meet everything that you wanted and you desired for yourself? Wow. Young Janice said, everybody that say they are on your corner will let you down, so you must be about yourself. Yes, you do. Because you're going to find that a lot of people will let you down. You'll find that they won't let you down if you don't give them the energy to let you down. You understand what I'm saying? You see, you control your environment, even them. But if you put a lot of energy on people, if your focus is on the outward, then yeah, you will be let down a lot of times. But if you already know going in that, okay, I can use you as a facilitator, you can help me in certain aspects, but at the end of the day, it's all boiled down to myself. Because sometimes you wants to delegate. When you will say, oh, I'm going to give this person this project, this one will do this for me, and I'm just going to sit back and wait on the returns. You see, I'm going to wait on everything to come in. When the self in you is like, look, I'm moving forward. Let's go make this happen now. Self in you wants now. The you in you sometimes, oh, well, let me think about that for a minute. I don't, how's this going to happen? And the self in you is like, look, we're going to make it happen now. We're going to make it happen now. And this is how we're going to do it. Let's do it this way. If it doesn't happen, doesn't work that way, then we're going to go this way. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't work that way, then we're going to try it this way. This way, this way, this way. There's many different ways to get at where you want to go now. Many different ways. Many different ways. But you must understand there's always going to be agenda. Somebody going to always try to come against you. Somebody will. And sometimes that somebody is at you. But, when you get to self, when you get to that self, and you strengthen that self that's within you, how do you do that? Well, you do it in your journaling, you do it in your meditations. That's you strengthening self. You're enhancing and you're increasing self. And by the way, another great way to do it is to give of self. Chadasha, you who've been given to the Christian woman, again, you still have the ability to be able to give of your energy to the Christian woman. Your energy meaning you're circulating your energy. Money is energy. How many of you understand that? Money is energy. It is energy. It's a force. It is a force. And it can be used to do great things. As I've seen, those that have very much money, they do give back. I look at Ross Perot. He's done great things for many people. Lee Iacocca, well, I used to own a Ford Mustang, so yeah, thank you, Lee Iacocca. Giving back. Giving back, Mishpahah. That will increase self within you. And the you will be like, oh, wait a minute, why do I have to do that? I can use that to pay this bill, that, another bill, and the third. Self in you will be like, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to circulate to help another. Thus increasing thus amping up and increasing my antenna, my frequency from my vibration and my source. Because look, when someone else is happy, guess what? You become happy. When you make someone else happy, they become happy. When you increase the frequency and vibration of positive energy, positive vibration in someone else, it comes back to you as well. That's why the Master Yeshua said, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Self. You want others to be happy. You want others. Your desire is for all people to be happy. That's why you cannot run around here, just like Hakohen said in the letter that he gave to us. You cannot run around here being judgmental. You want others to be happy, just like you don't want to be judged, and you don't judge others. You sit there and you find the happiness in people, you find the positivity in people, you find the love in people. It's there. Sometimes you have to make the other people see it. You find the joy in people. I tell you, how many of you ever just walked up randomly and somebody just gave them some money? It changes their demeanor. Believe me, money does have energy, Miss Bob. I've seen it. You can check. You just come by and you just surprise people either with money, with food. You just come left field to people where they say, "Oh, I didn't. Why are you doing that? What do you mean?" They can't comprehend that. You know what I mean? You go to them and you just do something that's totally outside of their sphere of thinking because they're dealing with the you, and that you has been conditioned to think a certain way. And for certain actions to take place. You see? A certain way. Oh, I didn't think that a man of color would be able to do that. Well, that's the you in you. But the self in you be like, hey, we all self. We have consciousness within us. We can become conscious. You don't have to stay unconscious. You can't. Sometimes you have to facilitate and you have to help others see that in small bits and pieces. That's why it's important that you do give back. You do give up your energy. You circulate, thus improving yourself. That's so very important. How many of you want to improve self? That's what's important. Put you to the side. You need to put you to the side, and now you need to begin to improve self, enhance self. And self is whatever you want. What do you want? What do you desire for yourself? You notice that phrase, yourself? That's the battle right there. It's you and self going at it. Every day of your living life, it's you and self. Who's winning? That's what you have to ask yourself. And how do you measure that meter? You see what's being manifested. That's a lot of M's. How do you measure that meter? Is you look at what's being manifested in your life right now. Well, Rabbi, in the future? No, I want to know about now. Let's put self into this. Don't let the you take over and win the day. Yeah, you may win a couple of battles, but you's not going to win the war. It's going to be self. And I know for some of you, this is going to take some time. Why? It's because you've been conditioned to think that you must get rid of self. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You've heard on YouTube, you heard through the priest, you heard through the pastor, that you must deny self, brother. How many of you heard that? You have to deny self, and you have to take up your cross. How many of you heard that before? Oh, you got to deny self, brother. Oh, that's the very thing you need to be clinging to. Again, everybody has an agenda. But because they want to keep you hooked on that so-called factory of love, factory of faith. That's a bunch of foolishness. They're keeping you away from living an abundance of a life and holiness in your mind. Oh, but you have to die to self. No, you must cling to that self. That's what you must be hanging on to. Listen to how they say it. You must die to self. Thus, you wins the day. Do you see it? I hope those who are wise will get that. Oh, you must die to self. So when self is gone, what's left but the you? It's the you. And the you is manipulated. The you is hoodwinked and bamboozled. The you is conditioned. and the you is the robot. That you know here. And so many of you people are hooked on the you with the YouTube. Oh, YouTube says this. YouTube says that. What are you dwelling in? Who's winning today? Self or you? It's the you that's kicking butt. Oh, YouTube says this. This man says this on YouTube. Oh, YouTube, I saw this on YouTube. I said blah, 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 blah. You. Why do you think they call it the YouTube? Because they want it to always be about you, not about self. How about somebody come up with the self too? How about somebody do that? All of you seeing the comparison this day? Come on. If you're here for religion, get out. You might as well leave. Because you're going to be disappointed if you're here for some religious mumbo jumbo. Do you see where source power has taken us on this journey? I look at my journey with the Kohen. How many of you remember the days when our Kohen used to talk about, we used to get on and doing his lecture, and he would talk about the Hebrew, and he would give us, he would give us the Hebrew characters and really what this word, and etymology of the word and what it really means, and he would break down the Hebrew. You remember those days? I remember those days, just like yesterday. And he would tell us, okay, yeah, and this is what, you see, it's all a stage. You see, just like Israel had to go from this point, pitch tent, this point, pitch tent. You have to keep moving forward on the journey. Yeah, that was good for that time, but just like our Kohen mentioned today, now for this time and for this day, and now that the universe is ready to open up this information to us, that's always been available, but now that we're ready, because now we're ready to receive it. But you have to go through the stages and the steps and continue to move forward with Israel and not just pack up and leave. Like we see there in Numbers chapter 22, verse 1. Israel continued to move forward. Pitch your tent here for a while, then you packed up. You won this battle, packed up, moving on. Do you see that there's a process? And along the way, many people didn't stay and move forward with Israel. They said, no, I'm going to stay right here. Oh, you say Yeshua is not the Messiah? Oh, I'm leaving. Oh, now you say Yeshua is the Messiah? Oh, I'm leaving. Do you not see it? People come and go because they're fickle. They're not willing to stay with the family during the journey. They want to just pack up and leave. So be it. I don't care if there's only 2 people in the room. I'll be the first to tell you. How can give a flying flute about some numbers? Numbers don't mean anything. But if you notice in this parsha, that's the very same thing that the you mentality is afraid of. Oh, Israel has big numbers. Go read it for yourself. It's in our history. It's in our books. You can go read it. If you read the parsha, you already know. Oh, there's just so many of them. Numbers. Who gives a flying flute about some numbers? One of the greatest things I see why the universe chose the children of Israel and to be their power and to be their source. It's because they were small. Rukashir. Because in the small is greatness. Keep yourself small. Don't look at the numbers. You stay small. You stay small, thus you will become big. You will be greater. You will be the greatest. Because why? You always have that mindset of small. That self within you. Rukashim. Well, you say, well, Rabbi Kefa, you're knocking the YouTube. No, I'm not. We put these lectures up on YouTube. Why would I knock YouTube? But what I am saying is that in anything can be used as a great vehicle, a great source of energy, a great source of frequency. At the same time, it can be used as just the worst source of energy, as just energy depleting when it comes to positive energy and positivity. That's life, right? That's the balance of the scales. You have to tip the scales. And that's that. You have to have the good with the bad. That's what makes this world go round. That's the beauty of life itself. But your thought process should be on, well, which side do I want to choose to be on? And some people just choose to be on the negative side. And so be it. You just have to leave them to that, Mishpahah. But your agenda should match and meet the agenda of the perfect law. That's the key. that will enhance your ability to see the successes that you desire for your life, the wants, the dreams, the thought process that you think it and it's manifested. You think it and it's attracted. Bam! That's beautiful. And it can be now. What do you want? What do you want? And let it be now. But the you in you has to submit to self. Wow. The wise will understand. When the you in you submits to self and just falls in line, wow. You are that avenger. You are that superhero. You are a hero now. You are super now. You have the ability even the most super. Superman can't touch you. You are super now. See it, say it in yourself. Because the you is going to try to put you down. It's going to try to tell you, no, you can't. You don't have the numbers. You don't have the numbers. That's what the you will tell you. Oh, what you mean I'm going to be rich, Rabbi? I don't have the numbers to pay this bill. I don't have the numbers to buy this house. That's what the you will tell you. But the self will tell you that you're blessed. You've always been blessed. Now go and live a blessed life. Go forward now and be blessed. Act blessed and be blessed now. You don't have to say blessed. You're already blessed. The blessings came just like Hakoni said in his lecture. Started with Abraham, blessed. So be it. Done, dusted. Full stop, period. Now you just act blessed. Let your actions be a blessing. Now. Do you understand? That's where you are. That's what self is. So what do you want? That's what self is. And the you and you say, wait a minute, self. You not running the show. And that's what you need to say. It's the you that's not running the show because self is running the show. Tell yourself that in the morning. You not running this show. Self is running this. And for myself, I want boom, boom, boom now. I am boom, boom, boom now. You see? I want it now. I am successful now. I have perfect health now. I am infinitely abundant. Now. Right now. You can't comprehend that, but self, that's the self's wheelhouse right there. That's wheelhouse. Put religion away. Put religion on the boat with all its luggage and let it sail away into the bright blue skies. And you can envision it just sailing away with a nice little sail wind and just taking it away. Because now you have come back and you have connected. The you has now connected with self, meaning your consciousness. You become conscious and now you're connected to source energy. You have the DNA of El Shaddai. What else do you want? While some of you still going running out here doing these ridiculous ancestry tests, this, that, the other. For what? What's the purpose? You could have circulated that money and helped the Christian lady. I mean, you'd have got more energy, you would have increased your energy, and you would have amplified your positive energy better by helping the Christian woman and investing in and circulating money for an ancestry test. Are you kidding me? It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But that pleases you. And self is like, why? You know what I mean? Agenda. What is the agenda? And this is maybe a question that you may want to ask yourself this Shabbat. What is your agenda for yourself? Look at the title of this room. empower yourself with the words of Jesus, Yeshua. Empower yourself. The Master Yeshua said, it's the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Did you hear? Do you know that statement? Anybody recognize that statement? That fact on the ground? Listen to what the Master said. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Anybody know that statement? Anybody acknowledge that for me so I know that I'm not alone over here? I'm never alone, and I'm never lonely, by the way. That's not my nature. To God for your responses, by the way. Now, I want you to look at the word, and maybe if you have paper and pen in front of you, this is powerful. Write the word yourself down. Write the word yourself down on a piece of paper, or just look at it at the top of this Power Talk page in the title. Now, look at what this said. Listen to what the Master said. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And that word yourself, what's the last part of the word yourself? Can anybody tell me? Somebody text it in there for me. This is powerful stuff. This is powerful stuff. This comes from me and my right here. It has nothing to do with me. You see that self? There you go. Sit down for that, Mishpachah family. The last shall be first. Think about that for a minute. And the first shall be last. This is how you have to run your life for success and infinite abundance. Connect back to self. What is self? That's your consciousness. Become conscious. This is one of the greatest keys to success in your life. However you see success. What do you want? What do you desire? What do you train for? Now, do you see it, Miss Bahad? That's what me and both, but that had nothing to do with me. To die, both from. I'm so happy and humbled that, that you're with me. Always, and you will never leave me. Just like him, hope I was with you, will never leave you as well. Will never leave you. You just got to know how to connect to her. I'm telling you, and I'm still learning, but I'm connecting more and more, and I want to connect even more. 5G can't touch the connection that I have with the my Mother Wisdom. Hashem, thank you, Mother Wisdom. Thank you, universe. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you. And I'm going to tell you something that's just as powerful. I took the words of the Kohen to action in this last lecture, Shabbat. How many of you got your beads? Remember how Kohen said to get the beads? How many of you circulated some money and you got your little beads? And you're wearing that bead on your arm. I'm telling you, I did that these past 6 days. My goodness. I've been saying thank you over 200 times because I just say it. And I'm telling you, there's power in that. There is superpower in gratitude. I noticed that in my life these past 6 days of labor. I'm doing that religiously. And I'm telling you, if you want to be benefited, do it as well. Because that keeps you in a gratitude state. And when you become gracious to the universe and you're in a gratitude state, you can't help but increase and amp up the frequency of your vibration of positive energy to attract the things you want in life. I would encourage you to go get circulate you some money. I bought mine on eBay, just like I always said. Circulate some money, get you some nice beads. They're very decorative, very nice. And I don't wear jewelry. But I wear these beads, baby. And every time I look at these beads, I'm putting on gloves because I'm a nurse. I'm always putting on gloves. I look at those beads, I'm saying, thank you. And when I have time, boy, I count my beads. I got one hand, count beads. Thank you. I'm telling you, that will amp up your frequency and vibration to bring in and attract the things that you want and you desire in your life. It does, because it keeps you. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. It keeps you in that humble state. You're not trying to raise yourself up high. You're staying low. You're saying you giving thanks. You giving thanks. You're not out here, got all your material things on Front Street, and you're not out here being braggadocious. No, you saying thank you. And the more you say thank you, the more the universe wants to give to you. Because you're showing gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Isn't that beautiful, Mishpah? I'm telling you, that's so beautiful. But most of the world don't have grasp of being thankful, showing gratitude and giving thanks, because it's all about, oh, me, you. You need to get this, you need to get that, you need to pursue this, No, I'm trying to pursue the default settings for all humanity, which is peace, love, joy, happiness. That's me. That's me right there. And in that comes all those other things that I want. And I'm showing gratitude for peace, for love, for joy. If you're here for religion, you might as well leave. Because this is nothing to do with religion. It's doing with how you need to live your life and how you can live your life more abundantly. With infinite abundance, as you connect back to source energy. I don't care what you call him, God, Lord, Jesus, as you connect back. Because you do have the DNA of El Shaddai. Now, what you do with that DNA while you're on the face of this earth, that's on you. But the Kohen, the son of Aaron, has given us tools to help us be successful. To help you plot out your agenda, your plan. What's your agenda? What is your plan? That's what you have to ask yourself. What is your timetable? My timetable is now. My plan is now. My schedule is now. And my program is now. What do you want in your program? I want homes. I want land. I want children. Baruch Hashem, baby on the way. Son. I want a son. Son's on the way. Baruch Hashem. I want a loving wife. Loving wife is here. Baruch Hashem. And you check them off and you get great gratitude and thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Thank you. You don't like using universe, use God, Lord, whatever. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude. How much gratitude do you see on YouTube? No, YouTube, because it's always got to be about you. You. No. I want to make it about self. What do you want? What do you want? Character building wise, you may want to put in yourself, you may want to put love, joy, peace, happiness. Put that at your core. And then give gratitude for it. And then what else spring out from that is, look, money brings me joy, so guess what? I'm going to get a lot of money. Money makes me happy, so guess what? I'm going to get a lot of money. Because that makes me happy. Thus, in turn, I can make other people happy. Because I circulate that money. And then, how many of you have given somebody some money and they weren't happy? Oh, I'm telling you, you give somebody some money, that's going to make them happy, thus making you happy. Because their energy will come back to you. This is why it's very important you always give out positive energy. You can't be judgmental. If you sit in the judgment seat, that stymies. That's like kryptonite to positive energy, because you sit there judging all the time and condemning and putting people down and holding people at a different standard, when at the end of the day, we're all human beings. You're human beings, and then I don't care what your religious affiliation is, even if you don't have a religion, you are a human being at the end of the day. And a human being needs to be treated with respect, with dignity, with compassion, with love, with honor, with grace, with joy, with peace. How about that? How about that, Mishpah? This is not about division, but it's about multiplying everybody around you. We look at this parsha, and we see that's exactly what they had a problem with. The multiplication of Israel. Like, there's so many of these people. Because that's what we are. We're multipliers. We're multipliers. You multiply your money, you don't divide it. You multiply your friendships, you don't divide it. You multiply your love, you multiply your peace, you multiply your joy. It just gets better and better and better and better when you connect to yourself. You can calm. You are calm now? Thank you. Thank you for thanking me. I thank you. Thank you is such a powerful word, isn't it? Is it a powerful word? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's so powerful. And if you don't have your tiger beads, go get. Ooh, Semi, you're right on point. If you don't have your tiger beads, go get them. Put them on your wrist. It's so decorative. It looks so beautiful on the wrist, right? You got them on your wrist, and it looks so beautiful. And you sit there and you look at them and you say, thank you, thank you. And you start counting them down. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I envision when I'm down at my beads, my tiger beads, they're lightening up. They're actually illuminating as I count. And I feel like I can go faster around them. Not that I'm in a hurry to do it, but it's like, man, those beads are making like a wheel. And I'm like, wow, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you hear the gratitude. It's one of the greatest keys to success, to an abundance of a life, to attracting everything that you want in your life. Gratitude, not grumpy. You can't walk around here grumpy. Grumpy, complaining, judgmental. You must rid yourself, and you should be doing this daily. And you're cleansing in the morning. As you ground your family and as you cleanse yourself in the morning and prepare yourself and charge yourself for a new day. Grumpiness has to go. You must show gratitude, love towards humanity. So what they don't believe like you believe? Who cares? So what they don't take the actions and live the quality of a life that you have? So what? You can still be grateful and thankful and show compassion and love and humility to all humanity. Because at the end of the day, they have the DNA of El Shaddai as well. Everything that was made is connected here on this earth. It's connected to source energy and has energy and is made up of atoms. Every single thing on this earth is connected to source energy. If you remember last lecture, Simha, our queen said to say at least 200 times, thank you. But I know I'm going over 200. Not that I'm trying to get brownie points. But over 200 times. Because I'm thank you, thank you. There's power in that. That actually gives me energy. Gives me positive energy. I say, thank you, thank you. Keeps me humble and meek. Just like Moses. I want to be humble and meek. Thank you, thank you. I'm not trying to get haughty. I'm not trying to get high-headed. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so happy and so humbled to be alive on the face of this earth. To be on this earth and walk this earth and to do great things for the people around me. You should feel the same way. But again, it's your agenda. What's your agenda? You have to ask yourself, well, what is your agenda? Your agenda to curse Israel? Because it's not going to work. Again, your agenda has to line up with the perfect law. There has to be an alignment there. Now, do you see where Hakohen has went from those original teachings and teaching about the Hebrew and we're learning to where we are now? Do you see the journey? And I'm so super excited about where we're even going now. But along the journey, many people, either they can't take it, can't handle it, too much for them, or maybe they just have another agenda. So be it. Love them and leave them. Love them and leave them. Love them and leave them. But my whole motivation for many, many years has been to connect to source. Connect to the power. I don't want the remix of the power. I want the power. And I know that's what all you desire for yourselves as well, is you want to connect to source. Forget all of these bells and whistles and all the you know, all of these divinations out here that just, you know, it's just fool's gold. I want to connect to source. That's what I want. That's what I want. And that's what I have now, is I'm connected to source, because that's what I want. I want that for myself. I want that for myself. The you in me, oh, forget about it. The you has submitted to self. The you has come under submission. Just like my mind is now connected to directly to my consciousness, to self. Thus it fuels it. I tell you, the mind is wonderful, isn't it? It's brilliant. When it's used properly, it's a marvelous tool that it is. To help attract and bring in whatever you desire for yourself, whatever you want to manifest in this life. If you would please, I'm getting ready to close, but if you would please, could you just, name off some of the things that you want manifested in your life, some of the things you want to attract in your life? Please do that. Please do that. Put the pen to the paper. Keyboard, warriors, awesome tribes of Israel. What do you want manifested now? What do you want now? And say it that you have it now. Now. Say it that you have it now. You see? Money. Okay. How much? Say that you have it now. Say that you have it now. Money. Okay, but the universe may say, well, you got $10 in your wallet. That's all right. Okay, so that's meant. You know what I mean? So, you have to, the universe may tell you, oh, yeah, you got that $20 bill. Yeah, so we met that goal. Check that one off. Move on to the next one. So you see, so again, say that you want it, and that you want it now. You see? Now. Thank God for your responses, by the way. It's just so important that you do this. You see, it's all about the agenda. And those that are serious about the agenda, they'll write it down. They'll tell you. There's no shame in their game, because that's what they want now. And they'll have it now. It's because they don't, there's no shucking and jiving here. Like Akoni said, you get right to the point. You see? You get right to the point. Why beat around the bush? Why kind of leave it hazy? No, I want my manifestation to be HD quality, crystal clear, 5G. No shucking and jiving here. There's no need for that. So when you all can get to that point, well, you know that it's yours now. It's yours right now. And every day you tell yourself that it's mine now, and you give thanks. Thank you. 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 Universe. Thank you. Paul says, I want my 10 million now. Exactly. Book of him. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Don't worry about how it's going to come in, because the universe, my goodness, you can't even calculate the different ways that the universe can bring it into you and how it's going to come. You see? Don't focus on that. Just that you do have it and you believe. And Hakoi said another key thing that we must do is that we must believe that we believe that we believe that it's there. And one of the first parts of believing that it's there is that you can write it down. And you can write it down. And you know it. But when you can't even write it down upon request, upon command, how are you going to command the universe? How's that working out for you? Again, you will know them by their actions. Who's willing to take action this day? Who's willing to take action now? You see? Do you see where we're going here? All of these things are to help enhance the self in you. Because if you was telling you, oh, what the heck, I'm ashamed to write that down. Well, if you're ashamed to write it down or text it in, then you must be ashamed to go before the universe and even ask for it. Who's definitely at a way higher level than our talk. My goodness. So again, that's the importance of it. This right here was a little lesson to see who would respond. That's all it was. To see who would take action. That's all it was. Go figure. Now, who passed the test, who didn't? Well, go figure. Go figure. You see? So it's very, very important to understand that. Lion Princess says, great health now. Indeed, Lion Princess, I am complete. I am whole. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Thank you, universe. That's real. That's real stuff. Now, Lion Princess, give you a bit of instruction that come from the Kohen. Start eating organ meats that will really enhance your ability and give you everything that you need. Give your body what it needs to sustain itself and not have to go run after somebody's peel, pink, blue, or otherwise. Start eating organ meats. You do yourself a great service. Great service. Drink a lot of water. That's so very important. I was talking to my wife about that just yesterday. About water. Water is so very important. So very important, isn't it? Isn't it, Mishpahah? So these are things that we have to look at. Your agenda. Let's look at your agenda. Your agenda. What is your agenda today? Your agenda can either be positive or negative, because what you will see is the fruits of your labor. What's being manifested in your life right now? Well, you're saying nothing, Rabbi. Wow. Well, you may want to go back and look at your agenda and see what needs to be tweaked or fixed. Because it just may be one little tweak that'll get you just, oh man, just like perfect in line and just good flow with the universe. Good flow with Mother Earth. So how many of you know Mother Earth can give to you as well, you see? And all of these tools are at our disposal to enhance us, to make us better. At the end of the day, what? Blessed. That's it. You're infinitely blessed. All around you. Just look around you. You'll see it. Self will see it. The you may not see it, but yourself, self will see it and be like, wow, yes, I am blessed. I am whole. I am complete. I am rich. I am a billionaire. I am a millionaire. I am riches. I am infinite abundance. Wow, Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. And then thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Thank you. That's good stuff, Mishpah. That's it. You know, we have, on this journey with the Kohen, I personally can speak for myself, I have come so far and connected so much closer with source energy. And I know there's so much ahead for me. And I'm so happy and humbled heart. And to know my place in this universe. Many people go through this life and they don't know their place. They miss it. They just totally miss it. They totally miss it. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those people. I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to meet all of my marks. I am a mark meter. Set your marks and meet them. You will meet your marks once you set them. You have to have an agenda. What's your agenda for yourself? And to God for your responses, those of you that responded, well, this is my agenda. This is what I want to manifest. This is what I want to attract. And so shall it be. So it is. So it is now. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Remember, agenda. Agenda is where it's at, Mishpah. We'll leave it open for any questions. Some of you may have some questions. And if your questions, don't be shy. You say you're a family, ask your questions here, or you can send, an email to us, to the Kohen. You can get some clarity, so you can get some assistance on what you need to do and what action that you need to take. That's really gonna, put you in the right position, in the right placement with your plan, with who? With your universe. So that you can have your heaven on the earth now. Paradise is now. Today is another day in paradise. I say that all the time, and people look at me like I'm crazy, but it's true. I'm in paradise now. My goodness. Why not have paradise now? I don't know why you wouldn't want to have paradise now, but the you will tell you, what the hell are you talking about? But the self in me is saying, you are in paradise now, man. Enjoy it. Happy. have peace now. Have happiness now. Have joy now. And in a few months, you're going to hear during a lecture a baby crying, and I'm going to be super happy. While everybody said, oh, the baby coming, you're not going to get much sleep. I'm saying, are you crazy? I'm going to sleep like a baby. I'm going to sleep just like my baby. Baruch Hashem. Thank you to the universe. I give thanks. I'm going to turn it back over to the Kohen, and we'll leave it up for any questions, okay? Tada, and Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom. Have a great 6 days of labor ahead. Enjoy your families, friends, loved ones, and make marvelous memories.
Yeah, Tada for that, Rabbi Kefa. Tada. Okay, another bit of instruction for you, and let me make a few clarifications so that you know exactly what you're doing from what Rabbi Kefa has said. Atara, you're asking about, can you get them from Amazon? I guess you're talking about the 108 beads. They're just called 108 beads. There's no other name for them. So yes, you can get them from Amazon, and yes, you can get them from eBay. Just type in 108 beads. That's all you need to type in, and you'll get long list of those beads, and they come in different colors. They come in different stone types. Then it's really an issue of flavor. Well, what do you like? And I myself personally, I'm a tiger guy. I like tiger eye because they are very concentrated stones. They are good for you. They have a certain energy that is great for you. So that's why I like tiger eyes. But you may like something else. That's okay. You may like amethyst, or you may like carnelian, or there's so many of them. So there's a variety. You can get them in every type of stone. But then, you're going to have to circulate a little bit more money if you do. Now, what I'd like you to also, the organs, what Rabbi Kefa is saying about the organs, I don't want you to confuse that with organic meat. We're not talking about organic meat over here. We are talking here about organs of an animal. Heart, the liver, these are organs of an animal. Kidneys, and, other things of the animals that are organs. These are what we call solid organs. Solid organs is what? A solid organ is a liver is a solid organ. We have a kidney is a solid organ. Heart is a solid organ. Then you have the hollow organs. The hollow organs like a stomach. I think you call it a trite or something over here. Tripe. I think it's called a tripe if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tripe. Thank you for that, Eddie. So it's a tripe. And these are the hollow organs. So you can eat a tripe, it will benefit your tripe, it will benefit your stomach. If you eat a heart, it will give energy to your heart. If you eat liver, it will give energy to your liver. Now, these things are tried and tested. I didn't take an experiment with 8,000 people and I said, hey, we conducted a scientific experiment with 8,000 people and 7,000 people said this and 1,000 people said that. No, we are talking about an experiment with a whole body of people over 6,000 years. And here is the result. The heart benefits the heart. The liver benefits the liver. Guess what? They take pig spleens and they take out insulin from it and they give it to diabetic people. Guess what? The insulin comes into that. So my point is this, that every one of these organs has nutrients that goes directly to that part of the body. And those animals that are kosher, meaning they're permissible to you, a cow, a sheep, a chicken, a turkey, whatever, I think they're just beautiful. I love chicken livers. I don't know about the rest of you, but I love chicken livers. So, the blood in the organs can be normally taken out, Eddie. Normally, we do the necessary salting of it, and that will take care of the blood. Wash it 3 times, salt it for about 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Wash it 3 times, blood is gone. You're good to go. So no problem about it. I love chicken livers. Eat chicken livers, really, really good for you. Some of you might like it in the sheep flavor or beef flavor. All good. All is good. Now, let me give you another thing that I need you to do. I need you to do this. I want you to take 2 glasses. Reserve them for yourself. If you're living with a mom and dad, you say to your mom and dad, these 2 glasses are for me. Nobody's to touch them. Nobody's to touch them and nobody's to do anything else to them. I'll keep them on my table. Wherever you keep them on your table. And so you take 2 glasses. And then after that, what you do, you're gonna have to print this out. You're gonna have to print it out because it's gonna be harder to write. Or you can write it if you like. And you're gonna write on one side of the glass that's gonna be submerged in the water. It's at the bottom of the glass. You can take a label And you can print it, or you can take a piece of paper, print it, cut it out, put it at the bottom of the glass, on the side of the glass. It's going to say the following. You're going to say, this water is very healthy. Thank you, God. Or thank you, Lord. Or thank you, Yahweh. Thank you, universe. This water is from Eden. So why do we say from Eden? Because remember, in the Bible, we were told in Bereshit, Genesis 2:10, and a river went out of Eden to water the garden. And from there, it was parted and became into 4 heads. So you're going to write this on your glass. This is the water from Eden. Life-giving, healthy, wealthy, beneficial. Write this on the glass. You're going to, somebody was talking about their present situation of relationships. Write it on the glass. My relationships are very loving and enduring. This is for you, Yajan. My relationships are very loving and enduring. All of you can apply this, because you all want to have good relationships with your mom and dad, with your husband and wife, with your children, etc. And so you can write on that glass, I am very wealthy. This water is very healthy. I am a great person. Then you can write, this water is beautiful. This water is from the Garden of Eden. And you write that on their water, and you have that little label on the side. And this is your second glass number 2, by the way. So there will be glass number 1 and there will be glass number 2. Glass number 2 has 2 labels on it. One with all these beautiful, beautiful statements. I am a millionaire. You can write it on your glass. I am a millionaire. I deposit millions of dollars in my account. Write it on there. If you don't believe it, nobody else will either. If you believe it, everybody else will believe it too. So tell yourself that. You don't need to convince me. Convince yourself. And then you can write the other statements I mentioned about the health, the wealth, the abundance. I am an abundant love magnet. Or I'm an abundant money magnet. I'm an abundant magnet for money. You can write those statements on the glass. And then at the front of the glass, your second label could be extra statements that could be particularly related to you. I'm giving you general statements. You could have particular statements related to you. When you write them on this glass, then you have glass number 1. What glass number 1 says, and they don't need to be big glasses, they could be small glasses. Glass number 1 says, present situation. Thank you, thank you. Only 2 words. Present situation, thank you. That's it. Then the second, what you're going to do in the mornings when you get up, you're going to pour your water from your container that has been holding water for overnight. You're going to pour your water from that container, jug, bottle, whatever is your container, a bottle made from mud, clay, whatever it is that you use. You're going to pour it into the first glass. You're going to lift it up and say, thank you, universe. I changed my present situation of abundance to the second situation. And your second situation is going to be the second glass. I am a millionaire. I am of great wealth. I am very healthy. My health is great. I have great relationships. I have very loving relationships. I am extremely healthy. This water is from Eden. It is life-giving. Those are the kind of statements you should be having on the second glass. You put it in there. You give thanks. You give thanks to God, or thanks to the universe. If you don't like use the term God, because I know some of you are shy about using the term God. You think there's some hocus pocus in there, or it was created out of witchcraft or something. Some of you are living into that fantasy land. So if you're not into that fantasy land, then there's nothing wrong with using the term God. And then after that, you're going to drink that glass 1 sip at a time. Don't gulp it, sip at a time. And you say, it is done. And drink the glass, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Each sip, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you finish the glass of water. That is something that you should be religiously doing every day. For your health, for your wealth, and for your abundance. Why do I say that? Because the glass carries memory. And I spoke about memory earlier, and I spoke about water earlier. Now is the time to put water to effect. All of our matriarchs, all the beautiful women that we have in the Bible that we call our foremothers, they came by wells. They were standing by the wells. The love affairs were created, before a well, before water. Rivers or wells, mostly wells. So therefore, all our forefathers, they were married to these beautiful women by wells. Guess how powerful that water is? Guess how important that water is? So it is very important that we use this information to our benefit. And when we use it to our benefit, then benefit we shall be indeed. So don't take this as a just by the by. This, I'm giving you this instruction. This is very serious instruction, and write it down. If you are not sure what I said, then re-listen to my lecture, and I can say it one more time. I can say it for you, because if you don't believe in the statement, then nobody else will either. First, you got to put your belief in it. I am a millionaire. You got to believe it first before somebody else will believe it. Universe will only give you what you believe in. If you don't believe in it, guess what the universe is going to say? It's a waste of time. This woman don't believe in it. Why should I waste my time with them? Source energy will only connect to you when you believe in it. That is exactly what the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus said. Next week, I want you to remind me. Eddie, mark it down for me, please. Remind me next week the statement about children in the Bible. Then I will bring something for you next week. I won't say it now. So we will talk about the children and the Master Yeshua next week. What was meant by the children statement. So we want to right now. Let me just repeat it for you again. I am a millionaire. I am a great person. This water is from Eden. It is life-giving. It is healthy, wealthy, and gives me abundance. Then you can say, I am very wealthy. I am an abundant magnet of money. I am a very powerful magnet of money. My relationships are loving and enduring. These are the kind of positive and full force statements you need to have on this glass. And then you can have other statements. If you like to put some other, if there's something particularly you want, then put it on there. If you want to put on there, I am driving my, red, whatever car. I'm driving my red truck, Chevy truck. If you like to drive a red Chevy truck, if you want to own one, you write it down. Put it on the glass. It will become memorized by the water. What will happen? You put the water in. You read these statements. When you put the water in, read these statements. And then the water will memorize it. When the water memorizes it, and you flip that water over to the new state, it's called a quantum leap, quantum jump. We just between two separate areas of the universe. And when you do that, and then what will happen is this water now has got that whole thing memorized. It's in the water. When you drink it and you give thanks and you give, you're gracious about it, you're humble about it, what will happen is that every cell of your body to the atomic level will get that information infused through your body. And then guess what's going to happen after that? The universe is going to start working for your favor, on your behalf. Every day you're putting your faith into this. You're believing this. It's not just a rote thing. It's not just, oh, well, I just do it and maybe it will happen and maybe it will not happen. It's not that kind of statement. These are definite statements. This is what you want to bring into your life. This is what you're definite about. So be definite about it. Know what you want. Remember, when you have those definite points in your head, that's what's going to come into your life. When a person says, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, that car's going to hit me when I cross the road. A car's going to hit me when I cross the road. Guess what's coming down that person's path? A car that's going to hit that person because he lives in fear of a car hitting him. Somebody, I won't put names over here. Somebody said to me, they were very fearful about applying for a visa or getting a visa. And I kept saying to that person, remove the fear from your head. Remove this fear. No, they kept fearing. Oh, so-and-so person said this, and so-and-so person said that, and this person said this person said that. I don't want to hear it. Please remove the fear from your head. No, the fear was not removed. Guess what happened to them? They got rejected. Because your fear overtook them. So if you allow fear to overtake you, then that's what will come down to your path, because exactly what Job said. That which I feared has come unto me, has happened to me. So stop fearing, start believing, and start acting on it. When you stop fearing and you start believing, and you start, not just believe, because he said to me, afterwards I spoke to him and I said, You know why this happened? Because you lived in fear. He said, no, but I believed. I said, believed in what? What exactly did you believe in? I said, your belief is not sustainable with your fear, because your fear is what dominated you. Your belief was secondary. I said, you believe like the typical Christians, or Jesus is coming in the sky. That's a typical belief. And I said, that belief don't count. Belief means you willing to put your life on it. That's belief. Belief is not, oh yeah, tomorrow is going to be sunshine. That's not a belief. Belief is when you put your life on it. That's belief. So I said, you didn't believe correctly. That was a problem. I said, you allowed your fear to overtake you. See, if you allow your fear to overtake you, then fear is what will manifest. Something has to manifest. Either is the good that you're asking for or the bad. What is dominant in your life? What is dominant? And the Master Yeshua spoke about it. My goodness, almost every statement, he spoke about. He said something that was so significant that people just take it for some kind of religious statement. It's not a religious statement. Most of his statements are not religious at all. They have to do with personal, present living. But most people like to, make the Rabbi statements into some religion. And they try to fit them to some religious map, and they don't fit. And that's unfortunately a problem that we have in our culture today, is that so many of us, want to go to church, for religion, not for personal living. So my suggestion to you, I'm giving you methods and methodologies of living. Not of religious statements, of living. If you want something, then believe that you will have it. If you don't want it, fair enough, you carry on, you go to your church, you do your thing, do your 30 minutes of sermon and 10 minutes of hymn singing, and you go home and you're happy for the day, and your life carries on and nothing ever changes. If you want that kind of life, there are many churches in America to give you that kind of life. And they love to keep you in fear, and they love to keep you and keep guessing, what's going to be next. So if you want that kind, by all means, you have all the choice for that. So therefore, my suggestion is, I do not believe in this mumbo jumbo that they teach. I believe in definites. Definites can only come to you when you believe in yourself. When you put your faith in what God has given you, is when those definites are going to come. It's no point saying half-heartedly, I am a millionaire, with like a half-hearted dead chicken. When you're going to say you're a millionaire, believe it, you're going to be a millionaire. And there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with you being a millionaire. Because think of the good things that you can do. Think of the good that you can do for your family. Think of the good that you can do for your society. So it's actually a good thing to be a millionaire in that regards. It's not like, money is going to bite you. So that's the problem, is that money, the relationship with money is broken of many people, because they are made to hate money from the start, from a child. This is what we call negative limiting beliefs. When you're given negative limiting beliefs, and you're constantly, given the statement, the love of money is the root of all evil, or the love of money is the root of evil. When you're constantly giving those statements, then you're going to be having those negative limiting beliefs, and they will remain in your psychology until you remove them. Because when you remove them, then you will not be limiting beliefs any longer. I can give you examples. I can give you examples, and those examples will come to pass. But again, time is short. I don't want to bog you down, or I don't want to bore you with the detail. But I can give you certain examples will shift your thinking. What you're doing is you're asking God for these things, and you're shifting your belief into receiving these. So you got to become a receiver. And in order to become a receiver, you must be a giver first. Now, I was reading that book, and Rabbi Kefa has it as well, Homeless to a Billionaire. Andreas is a man's name. And he spoke about giving, and he said that the more I give, the more I receive. He spoke about that as a method. He said, the more I give, the more I receive, so I don't have problem giving. A lot of the people today, they don't want to give anything because they fear that I'm only doing it one-sided. In other words, I won't receive nothing, I'm only giving it, I won't get nothing back. That's absolutely not true. The reason why God established the system of tithe in the Bible as a system was that was a system to bless people back. But unfortunately, people got it all wrong way around. And many of these so-called people out there who call themselves black Israelites, going around teaching, hey, there's no temple, no need to keep the Sabbath, don't give tithe, blah blah blah. They are teaching you every lie that let me give Satan credit for that. Every lie that Satan wants you to have, they're teaching you that. So let's give Satan credit for that one, because that's exactly what you want to be taught by the doubtful. What is Satan? Satan, the word itself, means to doubt, to obstruct. So in that regard, Satan, the angel, a beautiful angel created by God, is exactly that. He likes to create doubt in people's minds, and these people run around with their doubts, and guess where they live? They live in their doubt land, and their lives never change. So look at their lives, examine their lives, and you will learn that yes, I am telling you something that is factual. I'm not telling you something that is just made up. Now, the other thing is this, that it's very important that you because why did God command it? God would not command us something if there was no benefit for us. Why did God command us the Sabbath? Just like the tithe, God commanded us the Sabbath. Why command the Sabbath if it's no good for us? If I can just have any day off, it doesn't matter. No, the reason for that was very simple. There is a benefit to that, and there are many benefits to the Sabbath. So we don't need to talk to just about the Sabbath, but Sabbath itself is amazing benefit. You get rest, you get replenished, you get time to give thanks to God. It is just beautiful. So with that in mind, I want to leave you. I'm going to love you. I want to say, don't discard God's commandments. Look up to God's commandments, obey them, do them. You will have immense benefit. May the God of Israel, may the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless you tremendously as you go His merry way, as you go your merry way, not His merry way. His way is always merry. As you go your merry way, and you live your lives to serve Him, to uplift Him, to give Him thanks every day of your life. Be blessed. Shabbat shalom, shalom, shalom.